Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, fool.
Pavement.
I'm on my way out shit right now.
Way out. Phantom Empire.
I feel like I'm in the past life. You know, maybe a future one.
You see it?
Nigga. Can't sleep, can't eat. Got me on a mission. Sitting in the kitchen. Think about the guns, I need the brand new edition. Now I need the level head. Demons on my back. Cause I'm thinking with the devil's head. Allah provide me the sword so I can cut the devil's head. He got a hold on the ghetto. We forever dead. Cause niggas walk around like zombies. It's us versus them and we can't even see they army. They coming through the airways. Internet bombing. They put the squeeze on like shaman. This shit is too deep for the dum-dum. Condos in the hood now. Fuck where they come from. They take the hood and disintegrate it. And got the nerve to say they motherfucking renovating. And got the nerve to say they motherfucking integrating. All they did is fuck the ghetto when they penetrated. I keep my third eye up, now my eyes wide shut. Cause I don't sell my soul, I'm no high price slut. I'm a rebel in the land of the peasants. On the front line when they rise up. The poor shall inherit the earth. For what it's worth, you see a devil, fucking nigga kill him at birth. Cause these are the signs of the last days. Loading up the guns while I blow on the last haze. Word, nigga.
Peace. What's going on, everyone? I want to welcome you all back to another Liberator Speaks episode podcast. Tonight we're going to be dealing with a very much needed discussion. Things men should do before the global economic collapse. We know it's so long overdue. It's unavoidable. So the question is, what should we do? How should we view this? And we're going to look at some of the possible alternatives, scenarios that may take place. So we're going to be in for another thought-provoking conversation tonight. You know, like I said, we're elevating the conversation. We try to discuss things that other people aren't really discussing as far as in terms of with brothers, you know what I mean? So it's definitely going to be interesting tonight. So before I open up with my views and my thoughts, and before I get to my comrades, we're going to take a brief break and we'll be right back.
Have you ever dreamed about building something for your community? Well, here's your chance. The Moorish American Resource Center fundraiser is underway, and by supporting this project, you will contribute to the establishment of an organization that will offer social and economic resources like community-based business loans, family support services, community assistance, a marketplace, children's learning center, research library, and other programs. Now is the time to help us improve the quality of life for Moorish American families. You can help through your donations to this great cause for the Moorish American community. To make your contribution today, visit our website at www.moorishresourcecenter.org and click the donations link, or email us at info@moorishresourcecenter.org. No more dreaming. Take time to build something for your community. Support the Moorish American Resource Center fundraiser today and make your dreams a reality.
All right, we're back. I wanted to touch on this particular discussion specifically because some months back I did an article for another website that I own, another company that I own, is called MoorishHarem.com. Make sure y'all check that out when y'all get the chance. MoorishHarem.com. And it's called 8 Things Moors Should Do Before the Arrival of the Apocalypse. So it's a very interesting article. You all should check it out when you get the chance. But I've seen it. What really sparked this was I seen a meme. I seen this meme, and this meme said, "If Hillary Clinton wins," it had a picture of Hillary Clinton and a picture of Donald Trump, and it said it pretty much was like it had on the Donald Trump picture it said Civil War, and on Hillary Clinton's picture it said World War III. So pretty much, it's expected that if either of these two candidates get into office, we're looking at some tumultuous time, and it's my estimation that there will be an uptick in violence against quote-unquote black men, specifically because after 8 years of Obama and after we've seen all the developments in terms of, the Trayvon Martins, the Eric Gardners, and, the riots. Like, for a lot of people, those protests and those riots look exactly the same as how it looked in the 60s when you had your Martin Luther Kings and your other civil rights leaders. Black Lives Matter is going to cause a lot of backlash, against black men in particular. Black people in general, but black men in particular. And Moors as well, as we see with Mansour Ball Bay. So, looking at this landscape, we got to ask ourselves, well, what the heck should we be doing right now? With that, I'll digress and go to my esteemed comrades. Elamir, salam alaikum, brother. What's going on? What you want to open up with?
Wa alaikum salam. Testing out a new headset. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
No doubt. Yeah. This has been a concern for a long time now, and rightly so. Rightly so. Brothers' rights to bear arms is restricted. We don't got no militias established. All of these different things that a civilized community is supposed to have to be prepared for these types of disasters. Collectively, you don't really have them. But my main thing is arms is definitely necessary. I actually just watched I think it's 10 Clover Lane, something like that, with John Goodman, where he had a underground.
I've been needing to see that, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. How was it?
Yeah, it was good. It was especially for especially something brothers should watch and analyze the situation, because there was a situation where a disaster happened, and that film is what is portrayed. And John Goodman had a bunker. Basically, he was prepared. Bunker, food stored up, hammers, weapons. You know what I'm saying? Air filtration system, all that. You know what I mean? And he thought that it was something in the air, but it wasn't. It was an alien invasion. And he crashed into this female trying to get to his bunker when it popped off. So he basically saved her. But she didn't realize really what had happened either way. So she was tripping the whole time. She thought he was trying to kidnap her and stuff. So y'all need to check that out, because it was pretty good. But yeah, with that, I'm gonna digress and let the other brothers, say what they gotta say.
Definitely. I'm gonna check that out tonight. Matter of fact, as soon as the show over, medieval stuff and post-apocalyptic stuff is like at the top of my, I love watching stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna definitely check that out. Jab, what's going on, brother? Assalamu alaikum. What you want to open up with?
Peace. Yeah, no doubt, man. Besides the main points we're gonna touch on later on, I think overall, we, for the most part, before we even do those things, we need to, get our immediate environment in order. Like we can make sure our priorities in order. Status and finance are, factors definitely, but we really need to reassess, and look at the people around us. And I think that was excellent what great opener what L stated about the militias. It's like we need to start looking at the people right around us right now, these people that we love and who we would be fighting for and trying to protect if something like this happened. You know, how will they behave if the system were to crash? You know, what is their worth? You know, what's their value? How do they benefit you in a life and death situation? And, you know, and when you really think about the magnitude of what could come if this actually takes place, you know, it's serious business. So we have to ask ourselves, you know, are these people an asset or a liability? And, you know, personally, I've been thinking about this for a while as far as who I could depend on, you know, if something happens. And you know, it's actually kind of frightening when you really think about you. You look around your immediate surroundings and just see the people around you and you know, how they are. So anyway, I think we need to make sure we as Moors, you know, and those who understand this discussion, we need to make sure that we are using our time and energy in the most efficient ways as possible. So, like, you know, if you look around, you know, this consciousness, you know, whatever it is that, you know, people waking up, you know, it's widespread now. And you know, the things that we were speaking and sharing with people years ago, all of that stuff is pretty much mainstream information now. So, you know, and people either believe it or they don't. So I think we need to rethink how we're spending our energy and, you know, who and what we're spending it on. And, you know, me personally, I've been thinking about how I need to cut back on Facebook and social media altogether. You know, not abandoning it, but, you know, because we have valuable connections and exchange information, you know, because of those platforms. But I just been paying attention to how much time I spend addressing comments to others, you know, on things that I post or trying to clarify something for somebody. And, you know, after I go all the way in, I look up and it's just time wasted. You know what I'm saying? This is on to the next post. And, you know, I also noticed that I'm sure everybody, you guys go through this, that we notice how people, you know, they tend to want to have your attention and have discussions about, you know, certain subjects, you know, because they value your opinion. And, you know, we engage them and, you know, we share what we share. But, you know, we realize at the end of these discussions, we realize that, you know, these people are not interested in change or solutions. You know, so for the most part, these people are just talking to be talking. You know, it's kind of like it made people feel good, you know, to have a so-called intelligent conversation about something, but, you know, no solution. So anyway, you know, and also when you correct people, they get defensive. So, you know, it's a waste of time. You know, we spend a lot of time, you know, trying to, you know, clarify things and you know, that information is there. So all in all, I think we as more, you know, we need to understand, you know, what time it is. You know, those of us who understand what time it is, you know, we need to understand, you know, we understand that the shitstorm is coming. So we need to reevaluate our immediate environment and we need to begin weeding and seeding, you know, because the same people that give us problems now, and, you know, we can't depend on them now, you know, they're going to be 100 times worse when the empire collapses, you know, and, you know, storm is coming. So, you know, me personally, I'm just going to focus, you know, on what I need to focus on. And I want to say this last thing, too, just to put this out there for the brothers, because this is very important, and this is something I noticed personally. And no shade at the black woman, but this is what I noticed. A lot of black women, even the ones that are conscious and the ones that are coming to this conscious, when they encounter brothers who are intelligent, no matter what they believe in, they tend to want to take up a lot of that brother's time about talking to him, asking his opinion, and they you know, and we as you know, we try to, you know, we're focused on helping these people. So we want to talk to them and bring them clarity, but you look up and we waste a lot of time doing that. So we in the crunch time right now, and I think we really need to focus on what we need to focus on and start getting with people and form certain groups of whatnot and get with those of like mind. And with that, I digress.
Indeed, definitely. Always bars. You said a lot. There's a lot of stuff you said that I want to speak to, but I'll hold until after this segment with 50. But definitely some great valid points. 50, what's going on, brother? Salam alaikum. What you want to open up with?
Peace. Walaikum salam. Yeah, you know, before I get into my bars, I want to touch on something that Jay just said, because I saw something regarding you know, a press conference regarding the two brothers with Bambaataa, and you know what? It was some black women in that discussion that took over the mic and totally took the whole message away from those two brothers. So you are definitely correct about that, Daddy, about how some of the sisters take. It's a waste of time. You know, they take energy away from good, positive things. But on that note, you know, for years, man, you know, I've been talking about this information for years about the collapse and all this other stuff. You know, I used to talk about the thumbs or the tombs over in Nebraska, stuff that they're building underground military bases and shelters and stuff. So it's long overdue. This information is nothing new to anyone. I first came across the information in 2000. Really came across more of the information after 9/11. it doesn't matter what we do now as far as financial or anything. You got to be good with people. The number one thing is you got to be good with people, because at the end of the day, you're going to have people. If it does collapse or civil war, money disappear or whatever may happen, you're going to have people coming in your house for your water or for your piece of bread that you got. You know what I'm saying? You got to realize that, when there's no food available for people, your own family are going to turn against you. So we got to think very clear about what may happen in this near future, because it's coming, and it's been rumored for a long time. So it doesn't matter if you're buddy with someone or you're good with someone now. You gotta really pay attention and observe the things that they do, because those same people that you're good with now, anything pop off, those are gonna be the same people who are gonna come at you. It's just like dealing with people in the streets. They will come at you for what you got because they don't have it. It's every man for himself if anything were to pop off. You see what I'm saying? So I think that within the black community, there's going to be war within the black community first. And everyone's going to look out. They're going to look from the outside in. And some people are just going to come into to those communities and start knocking people off. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I'll digress for a while, because I'll add on when, people have questions or what people say, certain things, because there's a lot of information that I have on this, because I've been paying attention to this for years. And I used to post up a lot of this stuff about 10 years ago. So I'll leave it at that for right now.
Definitely. Always a pleasure. Definitely touch some key points. Also, for future references, you may want to check your connection. You was a little bit choppy, but we did hear you clearly, so you may want to check that out. But I'm going to run down the 8 points. Before I get to the 8 points, I'm going to just go 5 minutes to just address what the brothers was just saying. And I'll start with what you said, Elamir. On one end, well, I'll just address it all in time. But the bottom line is, like you were saying, Al, a lot of brothers are disenfranchised from having guns. But that doesn't stop anybody anyway. But what I would suggest is, brothers, if you got cases and stuff like that, Jad, you touched on it too. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to assess their immediate situation. You know what I'm saying? Well, before I even get to that, let me say this. America's Society, I know my part as co-founder, along with Elamir. I've been, one day in 2007, I was just sitting down, chilling, and this energy, I'm not to sound spooky or nothing, but this energy just came over me and consumed me, and it was like, yo. And I had no idea thinking about none of this stuff. It's like, but I had seen certain things, heard of certain things, and people have been talking about this stuff for eons. You know what I mean? But something just came over me. It's like, yo, you need to get ready, because stuff is about to go down, man. And from that point, you know what I mean? I hit Amazon. I got every book that I could get. You know what I'm saying? I got books that, books that they had outlawed that you're not supposed to have, like the Anarchist Cookbook. I got all kind of books, you know what I'm saying, I have bought over a period of time digging into this stuff and how to prepare stuff. But, reading only going to take you but so far. You got to actually plan. And the thing about it is, so America Society had been formed specifically to create, a brotherhood that, for a contingency type of thing. Because what you got to understand is, there's people that are preparing, man. There are people that are prepared, and some of them you don't even know. They're just prepared. They have their land, they got their bunks, they got their things going. And if you don't have those things, which I don't either, but I'm on it. You know, I'm looking for land right now. You know what I'm saying? The whole point is, I think it's the initial plan, the initial phase of what we wanted to do was brothers set up jurisdictions in their locale, in their area. You know, plans are plans, and they go, you know, you work the plans or whatever. But, man, I just think everybody, all the brothers are like minds. We just need to link up, find one place, and hold it down. You know what I'm saying? Because years ago, about 2 years ago, I read about, like, this white supremacist group, 20,000. They got 20,000 European Anglo-Americans to move to Montana, talking about they get ready for race war and global collapse and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got your militias out there. Now, people don't understand your militias were, you know, it's actually legal to have a militia. And the militias were formed specifically to, it helped during the American Revolution. You know what I'm saying? And so, like what Jad and 50 was saying, as far as, you know, the people, when you look at the people around you, you may love these people, man, but like Jad said, it's going to be 100 times, I'd say a gazillion times worse. And you will have family trying to, you know, take what you got, if you got something. Now, I know this young lady who, she works at this company that, you know, they're in retail or whatever. So she went to a trade show out in Nevada, and she was telling me that the number one or the top, you know, industries in retail is sex toys, geriatric products, like products for old people, and survival products. Everything else in retail is doing horribly bad, unless it's like, even luxury stuff is doing bad, but the uber rich could pay for it, so they kind of keeping that industry afloat. But what I found was amazing was that survival products was a thriving industry in retail, right? And what that says is that there's a lot of people that are paying attention to what's taking place. You know, like you said, you, Jad, and 50, I was saying that, you know, we was delving into this stuff, you know, years ago. And so all that stuff we's going into is common knowledge now. So my thing is, because, you know, this situation is more to the forefront as far as the discussion of it, the question remains, man, is, you know, what are brothers going to do? And I believe that, and right now, even us on this line, you know, we're scattered around the country. But the reality is, you know, the Anglo-Americans, you know, they've seen something else, you know, that really makes me nervous. The Huffington Post did a YouTube video, too, where it shows that all of the white supremacist, white nationalist organizations have put their differences aside and united under one banner. Now, take into consideration that the FBI put out a report that was 10 years ago, I believe, that said that the white supremacist groups were infiltrating law enforcement. Couple that with the uptick in unarmed black men getting killed. Couple that with, if you have any friends or family that you know who have been in prison, they will all tell you that the white supremacists run the prisons, really. I want you all to check out the show Banshee that comes on Cinemax. You know, they're in that show heavy. It gives you some real good insight as well. So, brothers got to drop this individualistic thing, man. Hey, listen, I know I've realized that most people listen to the shows for entertainment value. Nobody's really, really trying to do anything. I get it. All right. You know, I got to talk about this shit, though. You know what I mean? This shit on my mind. Whatever we talk about on the show, it's important stuff that needs to be discussed. And we're elevating the conversation. But the point is that, brothers, you got to drop this individual shit because everybody's teaming up. And like the brothers were saying, you got to assess everybody that's around you, and you know everybody around you is full of shit, because family, I don't know how you feel about your family, but families, everybody doing their thing, man. Everybody doing their individual thing. Family don't come together now as it is. Family hating on one another now as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you remove resources, food, and all that other stuff from the equation. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that the individualism needs to cease. My bad. Who was going to say something?
No, I was just going to point out, I watch Money and Violence. It's a web series.
Oh, yeah, that's my show right there.
And, Uncle Murder has taken on the role, the MC or the rapper. And, he plays the role of a convicted felon, just did 10 years, and comes home. His younger brother's an adult now, and he's into black market entrepreneurial activities, and Uncle Murder wants in. But the series ended with the last episode with Uncle Murder shooting his own younger brother in the back over a dispute, which the underlying issue was financial or monetary, but the language that is used in the context is bread and I want to eat. These are terminologies. Let me eat. Yeah, she trying to stop me from eating. These are the terminologies used in the context of these things. And this is given a modern day portrayal, of society. And when we look at that element, and then we think about, when we're talking about, the destruction of civilization or a disaster that destroys the very fabric of social balance. The social balance that we do have is not necessarily a perfect social balance, but when that is, we talk about that era when that's destroyed, we already see and still experience the primeval and primordial predator in the human psyche, amongst his peers. I often see, people like to try to throw up black on black crime statistics as if white on white crime is not on the same footing or above. But the fact is that what they say is that the majority of people that are murdered by someone that they were closely associated with. So when this period of post-apocalyptic comes in, it's going to be crazy. Even when we look back and we read the stories of colonization, when the came into Jamestown, or what they named Jamestown rather, they found Indian settlements, and Indians wasn't there. They was out, like they was doing something. They just wasn't at they huts and stuff. These pilgrims, first thing they did was went up in their cribs, snatched up their corn, snatched up their seed, snatched up any meats, any furs, anything that they felt was of value. They snatched it up. So this is gonna be an issue. We have to be strapped up. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna digress. You know what I mean?
And real quick too, to add on what El said, just that last part, what you just said about how the Pilgrims came in and they just took whatever they wanted. Just came right through. Home invasion. These are original home invaders, and this is where the law comes from. But the point is, people got to get the picture. Like it's the same thing that happened in Tulsa. When they, the race riots and all when they was taking over cities, they was bombing, doing what they was doing, and white women, white men, and white children were coming in, taking all your goods. So it's just clearly, that's gonna happen again if it revert back to that situation. But I just wanted to add that.
That's interesting too that you bring up the home invasion aspect because more Moors get a lot of slack for doing the squatting thing that people talk about. Oh, Moors are squatting. The Anglo-Americans are the original squatters. You know what I mean? Original adverse possessors. You know what I mean? So that's very interesting. But, you know, I'm glad y'all bring that up.
They call themselves settlers.
Yeah. AKA squatters. So, but, you know, the interesting thing is, I'm glad y'all bring that up because they got, listen, I employ everybody, man, to check out the prepper stuff. You know, I'm in a lot of their groups on Facebook. I'm subscribed to a lot of their pages, a lot of their websites, a lot of their forums, and you know they have this thing mapped out, man. Like for instance, too, if you watch Contaminant, and we'll get to this. We're gonna start digging in now, but the TV show Contaminant, is it Contamination or Contaminant? It's actually based out of Atlanta, too, because, you know, they got the big CDC thing there. And you see they got this store. They in this quarantine zone. They got this store that this mother and pregnant daughter is operating. And some a gang of white guys, Anglo-Americans, came in to, you know, take over the store. And the cops stopped them one time, right? But then they came back, and some brothers came back strapped up. You know what I mean? Restoring order. You know what I mean? Making sure the store runs smooth. I don't know if the brothers have ill intent. I got to wait to the next episode. But I just, you know what I mean? Everybody should check that out. But they got this stuff mapped. They say within 72 hours, like, I'm going to say this part, then I'm going to get into the possible scenarios of collapses. Then we're going to start digging into the 8 components, and then we'll get to the line and all that. But they got this stuff mapped. So a lot of them say within 72 hours, the first people to go is going to be the old people. You know what I'm saying? Old folks. People in old folks' homes. Just old folks. People can't move around. You know, can't get around stuff like that. Most of them going to get wiped out. And most of the people that's going to get wiped out is going to start with the city. Go ahead.
Let me interject real quick. First to go is going to be the food. First 24 hours, people are going to be rushing to the store to get food and supplies and stuff. 24 hours is going to be gone, and then people are going to panic even more. Then that's when what you just said can happen. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to happen after all the food run out. When it's a food shortage, then people are going to start killing people.
Well, you know what's interesting about you bringing that up is because the food, all of the food all of the food only has a 3-day supply. You know, all grocery stores really have a 3-day supply. You know what I'm saying? And the distribution centers are what get the food to the grocery stores. So, yeah, within the first 24 hours, the food's done. Whatever's in the grocery store is done. Because they're only stocked to have, 3 days worth of food anyway. Hey, you can see it now when they talk about when that nor'easter was supposed to hit the city. Well, at least when it hit the East Coast. Yo, everything in stores was gone. That's just hearing about a storm. Even with Sandy Hook, not Sandy Hook, Hurricane Sandy. I mean, when that hit, food was done. You know what I'm saying? So in 72 hours, they say, you know, the people that's going to get washed up pretty much is the old folks. They call them yuppies. You know what I'm saying? The yuppies, which is your hipsters and your, because they just so stupid. They just stupid. You know what I mean? They got this whole fake ass egalitarian perspective on things that they're just going to get washed up. And they said black folks. They put black folks in the whole group, and they all point to Katrina. You know what I mean? They all point to Katrina. So that's interesting. This is what all of the prepper blogs and all of that is saying. You know what I'm saying? And people who can't, and people who are not physically active. You know what I'm saying? People who can't really get around and be mobile like that. So they're saying that those are the first people to go. You know, but definitely you're right. You know what I'm saying? After that food run out, but see, it's all based on what premise this thing goes into. Because I just seen something. I think you posted it in the Murray group, L. The thing with that Congress just passed the law or something like that. They made it legal for scientists to reanimate dead brains. You know, I'm pretty sure they already tried this and did this stuff, right? But we got the zombie apocalypse is real, man. You know, like, you know, the zombie stuff, you know, that's a strong possibility. Or some kind of viral outbreak. You know, we have the Ebola scare. You got the Zika virus thing going on. You got your natural disasters. That's a possibility. You got World War III and Civil War. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the global economy collapse. You know what I'm saying? And I think if it's a global economic collapse, it's going to be a slower collapse, but it's going to be a situation that worsens day by day. And I think the easiest to recover from is an economic collapse, depending on to what degree. But if we have a viral outbreak, you know, or war, like World War III or Civil War that breaks out, it's going to severely complicate things, and it's going to be power grabs. But like 50 was saying, people are going to come looking for blacks to kill. They want to move, you know, they want to move us out. And you know, again, like I'm kind of done with the whole black woman conversation, but I just got to point out, you know, we're a minority here in the country as far as population numbers. And it's been like 16 million abortions since the 70s. So our numbers is low. You know what I'm saying? So anybody, you know, thinking that they're going to be able to, you know, withstand like that, you know, like I'm stuck in between a rock and a hard place in this sense. I want to stay and develop some kind of contingency plan here. But I'm like, man, I might just go to Africa. Africa is hard, man. They still hard over there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they still got brothers that run countries over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Brother Soulful, it's been emasculated for like 30, 40 years over here. You know what I'm saying? You know, the niggas wearing heels and dresses and stuff, man. You know what I mean? So it all depends. But with that, I'm going to digress. I'm going to go to the brothers, see what they want to say. Then we're going to get into the 8 things that must be done. But so you got the floor, L, if you want to add on at this point. All right, Jad, you got the floor if you want to add
indeed.
on.
Not too much. So I want to get into the 8 topics, the 8 points, but that's what I was getting at in my opening statement. I don't know if I articulated it correctly, but you know, that's the main thing I was really getting at. That whole black woman conversation, I'm done with. You know what I'm saying? We got to be really done with that, because that was like the capstone on the pyramid of our, you know, our 360-degree understanding of our situation, how we got here, who our enemy is, what's working against us. So we got to drop that from the conversation, and also, and more importantly, drop anyone or you know, that's, you know, just women and things that just don't give us time. But I digress.
Indeed, definitely. 50, you want to add on at this point?
Not right now. Just give me a sec. Give me a few. I will in a minute.
Okay, indeed, definitely. So, getting to the 8 points, okay? The 8 points is this. The first point, getting out of the major cities. The major city, there was this senator from Georgia, I believe, but I can't seem to find this article anywhere. It's certain stuff that came out. For some reason, it just disappears from the net. I don't know. But it was this senator that came out, and he said his advice was for young people to get out of the inner cities because they're death traps in times of economic distress and other types of stuff. Now, there's a lot of, you know, the way the cities are set up, man, you know, the movies show you that. You know what I'm saying? That's not the place to want to be, trapped off in the cities. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the place to be. You know what I'm saying? It's not the place to be. In the article that I did, I said pretty much get out of the inner cities. We've been talking about getting out 40 acres and a mule since it was promised and taken away from us. Today, 40 acres is relatively cheap to obtain, depending on where it's located. The inner cities have been death traps for us ever since the mass migration from the southern states our parents and grandparents embarked upon many decades ago. Don't stress gentrification. It's a good thing if you're in tune with what's going on. Terror attacks are going to increase, especially in the inner cities. No one will be paying attention to those living in rural areas. Land is the basis of independence, and developing that land will bring you more wealth than working for someone else. You also have to be concerned with zombies, natural disasters, and other things that will make the inner cities the worst place to be during a calamity. Now, the interesting thing about that is these inner cities, man, when you look at the design of them, they're not designed to really be sustainable. It's a lot of convenience there, but it's not designed to be sustainable, okay? And you're dealing with, sewage, you know what I'm saying? You're dealing with, you're just dealing with a lot of mechanical engineering aspects of things that if it collapses, who's going to be there to repair it? You know what I'm saying? You have if you take a place like New York City, you got tunnels underneath the place. You see what I'm saying? Tunnels under tunnels, so on and so forth. So, you got to be abreast of the fact that, a lot of people don't even talk about how there was a mass migration, I believe in the 40s or 50s, maybe the 60s too, from the southern states, the southeastern states, to all these other places throughout the country, to the northeast, to the Midwest, to like Chicago and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It was a mass migration. But land in the South is relatively cheap. You know what I'm saying? I personally got my eyes on Texas, mid to west Texas. And the reason being is because Texas, if you ever watch all these other shows, like another good show to watch, they took it off. I'm pretty mad that they took this show off. It was a real good show. It was getting real good too. But the Seventh Heaven Father, he was in that show, and he had admitted to molesting some babies or something, or some girls, something like that. So they took the show off. But it's a show called Revolution. You know what I'm saying? Real good show. Check that out. And Jericho, you know what I mean? This first season was so good, they took it off. People complained. They brought it back for a second season, but the second season was short. Make sure you check that out. And Jeremiah, that one got Malcolm Jamal Warner in it. Very good show. You know what I mean? These are all about post-apocalyptic joints. And in each one of them, I'm not sure about Jeremiah, but I know in Jericho and Revolution, Texas is the Lone Star State. You know what I mean? So if there is some type of some new political power that arises in the West Coast, the Midwest, or the East Coast, or the Southeast, every side will, and this is political science here, every side will need to have Texas join them in order for whatever political union forms to be the dominant factor. So that's why I got my eyes on Texas in that way. Also, it's like 70 to 80% sun out there all the year round. So you can always be growing stuff. And then there's like a lot of different exit strategies. You could go into Mexico from Texas. You can hit, the Gulf and hit the waters. You know what I'm saying? You could go to the east, to the Midwest, or to the full west from, that Texas location. So, and then if, some kind of natural disaster come from, from the east or the west, you're in between, so you got some options. So that's why I got Texas in mind. But land in Texas don't seem to be as cheap as land in, like, let's say, North Carolina or South Carolina or Georgia, So that's me personally, but that's the first thing. In all scenarios, it is pretty much agreed that people should get out of the inner cities. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Okay. Now, Any of y'all got anything to say about that aspect before we go to part 2?
Not at all, sir.
All right. The second one is acquiring sustainability skills. Okay? Living off the land doesn't have to, this is from my article, of course, living off the land doesn't have to be whack and boring, especially now with the sustainability movement in full motion. One does not have to compromise the luxuries and comforts that one would find in the inner modern cities. Learn sustainable farming, energy, and everything else that gives you power to not need outside forces to live. This also includes carpentry and electrical wiring. You can get these skills by becoming LEED certified and so on and so forth. Now, it's very important that brothers pick up skills, you know, a lot of skill sets. You know, that's, like I said, I was embroiled in some years' worth of legal battles, so I didn't have any time to really start doing certain things, but I'm going in now. So me personally, I'm learning how to build sustainable homes, and I want to learn some electrical stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? Just get skills, man. Dude, brothers gotta become satisfied in doing manly stuff. You know, this society is so feminized. Hey, listen, I like nice clothes and nice stuff too, but you know, the bottom line is they got us thinking about Jordans, man. You know, Jordans and how well you dress and just stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff that when stuff collapses is just completely useless for you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's very important that brothers pick up skills that really matters and things that's going to make you valuable to yourself and to a group. It's also a TV show. I think you could check it on Netflix. There's a show called Colony. And they pretty much deal with having, you know, different groups of people with different skill sets, see how they work in like a post-apocalyptic type of situation. You know what I'm saying? And the movies are always prepping you for these types of things. You know what I'm saying? I was kicking it with the brother Noble Ampool, and Minister Jew a couple months back. We was in a private discussion, and it was just telling me how, you know, how imagination works and the power of prayer and stuff like that, how you can will things to happen by visualizing it through your imagination, so on and so forth. And they was just discussing, though, how, you know, how when the way a movie did is set up, you know, it's set up for the minds to work in synchronicity. And they make some very compelling arguments. I won't say arguments, but they make some very compelling statements and backing up by the latest studies in science. And I you know, I can't deny it. It makes a lot of sense. But how the movies are designed for you to view them and kind of like will it into existence, just the way they set the whole movie theater up in the screen, and you know, there's a lot of science behind it. Hopefully, maybe one day I'll have them on the show, and they could break that stuff down in more detail. But these movies put you on to what's really good. You know what I mean? And then the other thing too, man, is like I'm following a lot of homesteads. Like I personally believe, brothers, we just need to drop whatever the fuck we're doing, like some real shit. Just drop that shit, link up, and become homesteaders. You know what I'm saying? Because get some land and start working that job and get right. Because, like, 40 acres is the equivalent to 25 city blocks. So, you know, people be like, yo, my hood, you know, my city. You know, 40 acres is the equivalent to 25 city blocks. So, like, that's like whole neighborhoods in New York City. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know what I mean? Brothers need to look at that because you got shit containers you can get for $1,000, you know, hook those joints up. You got earth shit.
And we got,
excuse
me, Shyaam, we got some static.
Yeah, you know those links I was sending you last week, Shyaam. There's tons of land that's out there, but the only thing is, you know, when you get land, you got to know how to take care of the land, and that's the problem with, you know, a lot of people these days. They, you know, back in the day, you know, we used to have, you know, men in our community that were gardeners. You know, they were, you know, they had the green thumb. You know, in order to get these lands and stuff, you know, you have to really know how to take care of these lands, take care of the land, you know. especially if something was to happen like a drastic war or apocalypse or whatever. I mean, you got to know how to dig a well. You got to know how to capture water. You got to know how to grow crops. You got to know how to farm, these crops. You got to know how to maintain the animals. There's a lot of things that you got to take into consideration because, just doing stuff around the neighborhood, that's nothing. You really got to know how to, hunt your food down. You got to know how to just do a lot of things to really maintain, in order to have your own land or your 20 acres in the middle or your 40 acres. I mean, the land is out there. I mean, you saw it, Shyaam. The stuff I was sending you, the land is out there. You got to know how to protect your land as well. If you don't know how to protect your land, I mean, just look at The Walking Dead. I mean, The Walking Dead is a prime example of how people will come in and take what you got and eat you. You may be the main course. So you really got to know how to acquire land, protect it, protect your family, protect your food, protect your supplies, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's actually the third point. So we kind of segue into the third point. The second and third point definitely is yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? Definitely have to learn those things. And the interesting thing about that, I don't know, is it still choppy, still static from my line, or do you all hear me clearly?
No, that's my phone. Because I'm driving right now, so sometimes when I drive, the wind hits the microphone.
Okay. So you can hear me clear, right?
Yeah, you good.
All right, true that. But yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, you got to learn those things. And the good thing about it is YouTube and Facebook groups and all this stuff, the internet has made it very, very good to, collect data. And you got people that, are doing this stuff. Like, for instance, I've seen a quick video where you can, like, let's say you get a banana or any type of vegetable or fruit. Well, yeah, you can actually cut the ends of it off and replant it, and it grows again. You can mix it with other type of vegetable, and it grows together. Like, it's just deep. There's all kinds of stuff you can learn how to do via the net. So the knowledge is out there to learn how to do this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, brothers need to get on their homestead and stuff, man. You know what I mean? This life they got us, that they're glamorizing is a pure illusion, man. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have any real value, substance to it, and it's not manly. It's not masculine, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. And that segues into the other topic of acquiring the survival skills, knowing how to hunt. I remember you was with me, we was headed down to Florida. We met that brother on our way down there. He was talking about when you go hunting, you can't wear deodorant and be smelling good. The animals will smell you from a mile away. You know what I'm saying? Miles away. So just little stuff like that. You got to know how to hunt. Got to know how to, archery. Getting your food sources and knowing your plants and stuff like that. These are things that I believe makes us men. Knowing how to do man stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not exempt from it. That's why I'm on it right now. You know what I mean? I'm taking courses. I'm starting probably in July. There's some courses that I'm taking that show you that type of stuff, like really out in the field, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And surprisingly enough, it's the rednecks, it's the hillbillies that got the courses and the knowledge on a lot of stuff. But there's a brother named Wild Wolf. I've got to reach out to him. He's supposed to be an expert in this type of stuff too. But either way, brothers, get sustainability skills and survival skills, man. You know what I mean? It's going to be needed. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be needed. Survival skills is very important. You know what I'm saying? So that's number 2 and 3. And the fourth point, building a harem. But let me read the third point, and I'll segue to the fourth point. I say in the article, I say 5. I say it's a survival skill in the article. It says it's definitely time for brothers on a mass scale to learn survival skills. This includes hunting, recognizing wild plants and herbs and their usage, building shelters and starting fires from scratch, and which bugs are the best source of protein. There will come a time when this is necessary. Nature, by the authority of the one God, is about to hit the reset button Without this skill, you will not be able to survive on this orb called Earth. And then the fourth point is build a harem. If you have land and are going to be living sustainable, then you will need some women, of course, to help you with everything. If shit hits the fan, and even if it doesn't, who wouldn't want to live on a bunch of land with vagina and sight surrounding you? Building a harem is easy if you're the type of man that can handle one and have the ambition to do so. There are plenty of women out there who would be interested in not having to work in the inner city with the hustle and bustle of daily life. If things go to shits, then you will be able to create a tribe from scratch. I remember watching one of Geoff Lawson's permaculture videos, and he said he works 1 hour daily checking his permaculture farm, and the rest of the day he spends thinking about what he should think about. Not sure about you, but that's definitely life I aspire to reach. And the reason I brought up the harem is one of the things brothers need to really consider is because there's already a shortage of men in the population who are capable in one sense. And then you also got to figure out, too, if shit hit the fan, then the prisons is going to be open. So you're going to have a lot of men at the peak of their, predatorial capabilities, doing what they do. So that's more competition. But you want to lock in on that harem concept because, there's going to be, women, see, this is the thing, too. Women better stop playing the fuck around, you know what I'm saying, playing with this illusion shit. Because, they're going to be getting raped and stuff like that, like crazy. You know what I mean? They're going to be getting raped, abused, way worse than they are now. I think rape only accounts for 10% of the national female rate. Rape on females account for like 10% of the national crime statistics. But that's going to be an increase. Like, I heard you bring up the Bambaataa thing earlier. Like, that type of stuff is going to be running rampant. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be because there's no law now. There's no order. There's no cops to call. Nobody cares. So it's like,
yeah, you see,
and I just want to say this piece, and I'll let you get that in. I've personally spoken to a lot of women through the Morris Ham Company, and just in general, a lot of women are interested. I refuse to go into the ethnicity of these women, but the bottom line is a lot of women, believe it or not, are interested in joining and being a part of a harem or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And like they always say, women look for security and all that type of stuff. If you just know how to, get the latest J's and you just know how to meditate, you're not going to be able to go back to the primitive realm of way things operate and hold it down. Because if you got women on your squad, it's going to be men out there that want to take that. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say that. But what you were going to say?
Yeah. See, the whole thing about the harem. When you acquire this land, women are they're going to want to be protected. They're going to want to be somewhere where they know that they're secure. This is why I was saying earlier that if you acquire this land, you're going to have to know how to protect your land and the people on that land. Because you're right, there are going to be people running rapid trying to rape, take what you got, So women will feel protected if you have some type of secure place for them. And like you said, you already know how many people are with the harem, no matter what ethnicity they are, There's tons of land out there to form your own harem, Just got to know how to maintain it. Once you learn how to maintain it, you have to keep maintaining it to secure what you have, So, I'm pretty sure, back in the day, the Moors that did have the harems, they knew how to protect their harem, from certain negative people coming in there and messing around with what they have, So, yeah.
You're right. And you brought up a point earlier when you said you got to be good at dealing with people. Because, once you do got these things, you know what I'm saying, you got to deal with people management. You feel what I'm saying? So that's a very key important point. You know what I mean? And you can't just be allowing different nails up in your shit like that because niggas try to take your flow over. That's why I'm saying you need to get with brothers now who are like mine so I can work on some shit like that. But go ahead, though, my bad.
Right. And see, I was going to say, too, I think I almost forgot what I was going to say. But, yeah, you definitely have to watch who you have in your circle because you're going to have, outside people, in these females' heads as well, no matter who they are, to come and get your stuff. You never know who's trying to set you up, so you really have to pay attention in drastic measures and stuff. And having a harem is the true meaning to, the village. It takes a family. It takes a family to run the village, and the women will be there to maintain what you have. The only issue I would see in a situation like that, having someone trying to come in and take what you got, is just some ratchet females, some low down dirty men out there. So back to what Jaddy said earlier about females. A lot of these females need to stop playing, man. And one thing I would say is you really got to watch out in scenarios like that because you do have women who will try to manipulate on a grand scale. You think what's going on now in urban communities, middle-class communities, and upper-class communities is something bad. Just wait until things pop off. You're going to have all type of manipulation going on. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of men out there who are just beta males, man. They just suck up. They don't know how to control stuff, man. So you're going to have these suckers. You're going to have these suckers. It's almost like females controlling men with the vagina, with the pussy and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have these same type of dudes.
Well, I don't really think
you're gonna have these same type of dudes and women out there.
Dudes who are controlled by vagina, I don't think they're going to be able to actually maintain a harem. I don't even think they'll be there. They'll have one woman manipulating them. But you make some great points, and I just want to bring this point up. The reality is that, for instance, like you said, somebody get in the female heads. Like if y'all watch Fear the Walking Dead, this girl she died off of the 100 show, but that's a good show too. That's about post-apocalyptic. Y'all guys got to check that. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, hold on one second. Hold on 1 second, before you make that, because I want you to think about this too. You're gonna have men and women that's going to try to come, because remember now, we're in a day and age where you have a lot of women, these studs out here that want to be men. And I'm not talking. I'm not talking about this.
Yeah, I mean they show you that on they show you that on the 100, like Shyaam was just saying. That the 100 is a great portrayal of that. They show you the female alphas. Females out there going for blood. Going for blood. Ain't nothing sweet about it. It's called the 100.
Come on, CW.
Plenty of other ones too. I mean, that's what Sarah Connor represents. From Terminator.
Right.
Sarah Connor. Right. She dropped the damsel in distress flow. And she went hardcore with it. Now she busting guns, swinging knives, and throwing grenades. So you're definitely gonna have those predatory types. That's gonna be out there. Like I said, man. He was a predator, man. It is what it is.
You're gonna have things popping off on top of land, but then you're gonna have communities underground. Like, in New York and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like those underground cities, people who inhabit the subways and stuff, they have their own community out there. But now you have people in certain places who have built these bunkers or certain underground cities, like the government stuff. So you're going to have things going on up underground and on top now.
They say actually
that show Jeremiah. That show Jeremiah gets into the underground government facility joints. That's a good show. People should check out Jeremiah. Yeah, what you was gonna say?
That's synonymous with or similarly with man, I just went off the tip of my tongue. the Raccoon Corporation. The movie with the
Right.
Raccoon Corporation. What was that movie called?
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Where it was building all those cities underground. You know what I'm saying? And had it looking like it was daylight out there, or under there, rather. And then stuff started collapsing. Viruses got loose. Stuff shut down. People got stuck up under there. People start mutating and stuff. They say there's actual communities living in them underground subways.
Yeah. That's what you're just bringing up. Yep. Mm-hmm.
They even put out movies portraying that they're cannibalistic. So, and this is before.
LA got an underground society too, with Skid Row and all that, with the homeless folks as well. You know what I'm saying? I seen a movie on vampires that was going into the tunnels in LA and stuff like that, and all the stuff that's going on.
That's a major problem out here. Yeah, that's a major problem out here, man. Next time when I go down Skid Row, man.
Let me just go through these rest of these joints real quick because the lines is lit up. So I'm gonna just breeze through these last few points. Let y'all go get y'all word off. We're gonna take a break and I'm gonna go to the line. So whoever on the line, just hold on. We're gonna get to y'all in about 5 to 10 minutes. But the last thing I'm gonna say about the building the harem part is personally me. You gotta train the women how to fight too, because they gotta be they gotta be able to hold it down as well. But that might be tricky, you know what I'm saying? So that's up in the air how people brothers going to decide to finagle that and maneuver that. But number 5 on the list is getting healthy. It probably should have been number 1, but hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm not in the best of shape, but I've been on my grind lately, you know what I'm saying, getting my stamina back, you know what I'm saying, making sure I could run some miles, getting brolic, hitting the gym, you know what I'm saying? You got to eat right, brothers. Is because the health is important, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in shape out here. Got to be healthy. You feel what I'm saying? That's a very key component for the survival aspect. Acquiring fighting skills. Now, this is very important as well. You know what I'm saying? The fighting skill aspect is very, very important because some brothers I noticed in Murakus, they know Muay Thai, kickboxing, they know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, I'm going to be taking courses in those probably in the fall. And it's this knife fighting thing that El Azim, he put me on to it. I forgot, it's called Petit Petit, something like that. But it's like a Filipino knife fighting joint, and they got like this knife. It's ill. It's ill. Incorporate fighting skills, brothers. Got to get your fight. You got to technically know how to fight. You might have just been not used to knocking dudes out. That's cool, but you got to technically know how to fight, man. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very essential. You know what I'm saying? And that comes along with also sword fighting, shooting guns. You only going to be as good as you practice when it comes to the guns. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay sharp on that, as well as archery, all that type of stuff. I got this book that y'all can check it out too. It's called it's called North American Survival Skills. I had got this back in the day, and it shows you how pretty much the natives, how the indigenous people in North America was able to build shoes, bows and arrows, how to build things from scratch. You know what I'm saying? Clothes, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Teach you the skills of the natives that they used to do when they were surviving. And number 8. Now I don't know if we're going to be, if technology is still going to be a part of it and stuff like that, because I've seen some type of other post-apocalyptic dystopian scenarios in which, computers is heavily involved in it. Maybe like, the Terminator aspect with the machines. If we got a lot of people making AI, Skynet, Google, it can turn into Skynet any day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to know coding in general. You know what I'm saying? Got to learn how to code, because that's going to be very important when if things take a turn for that, take a turn in that direction when it comes to AI and artificial intelligence, stuff like that. And last on the list is, ascending and becoming a spiritual master. Like I was talking about, the brothers Minister Jew and Noble Ampu, they was discussing how, And I've seen an article. It's one that's going to be published on Moorish Harem soon, too, called The Power of Prayer, like making the salats actually increase your alpha brainwaves, and alpha brainwaves is in charge of creativity. You know what I'm saying? The more alpha, but the stronger your alpha brainwaves are, the more creative you are. So, in particular, I'm Muslim, that's the side, that's the flow I deal with. You know what I mean? In Islam, it's not compulsory, but I would suggest you get on your Sufi flow or your spiritual master flow. You know what I'm saying? Take your spirituality very serious, because, you know what I mean, that's a component that helps you, psychologically and physically, believe it or not. There's a lot of research that's been put into this as far as neurological studies and how spirituality works and all of that. So I would say definitely, you know what I mean, make sure y'all take that serious. So that's all of the 8 things on the list. We're going to take a brief break, and then I'm going to go to the brothers, see what y'all got to say, and then we're coming right back to get to the lines. So just if you're on the line, if you got something to say, got a question or statement, press 1, get in the queue. Hold on, we're going to be right there with you. We'll be right back.
Have you ever dreamed about building something for your community? Well, here's your chance. The Moorish American Resource Center fundraiser is underway, and by supporting this project, you will contribute to the establishment of an organization that will offer social and economic resources like community-based business loans, family support services, community assistance, a marketplace, children's learning centers, research library, and other programs. Now is the time to help us improve the quality of life for Moorish American families. You can help through your donations to this great cause for the Moorish American community. To make your contribution today, visit our website at www.moorishresourcecenter.org and click the donations link, or email us at info@moorishresourcecenter.org. No more dreaming. Take time to build something for your community. Support the Moorish American Resource Center fundraiser today and make your dreams a reality.
No doubt. Make sure you check out the Moorish American Resource Center. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Now, what you got to add on at this point, L? What's the bars you want to drop?
I'm just maintaining that, arms is, one of the fundamental necessities. That's really what I'm thinking about. I'm looking at the playing field, and it's looking like Songhai when the mercenaries came through. They seen thousands of people that was not bearing arms, or not bearing arms that were to the modern standards. So that's definitely something. That's the other thing is, as far as the fighting and stuff, that's technically a reason why brothers is actually getting shot down in the streets like this. They're two different things. They don't have the mentality to defend themselves, and for the most part. And the other thing is they don't know how to disarm these murderers. I don't know what else to call them. Predators. These predators in uniform. Brothers need to know how to disarm these dudes. And because they don't, for the most part, it's why they're very comfortable with pulling them out and aiming them at us. But when they know that they do that, they could possibly lose it, their arm or their life. Then they'll think twice before pulling them things out. But that aspect, is very essential. Some of these other communities, their kids know how to hunt. What are we doing with ours? We got ours playing basketball and football, but do they know how to aim a rifle? Do they know how to clean a firearm? Do they know how to take it apart, put it back together? Do they know how to make bullets? you know, some of these other communities, they kids know these things. They know how to pick a deer off, you know, 100 yards away. You know, so that I'm going to digress.
Indeed, definitely. Chad, what you want to add to the table, bro?
Indeed. Great points L made, and all very, you know, we need to speak on that. But let me go back to I want to give a shout out to Noble Ampoule and Minister Jew. I want to say what you were saying about that, Shad. You know, like me, I'm definitely a Muslim, but we have to understand that we, as Moors, and no matter, you know, even if you don't identify as a Moor, if you understand your history, you understand how deep our history runs, you understand that our ancestors, we were masters. We spoke several languages. We understood various religions. We understood them intricately. And we also, you know, we were worldly people, so we understood all things, because that's how you can, you know, you can only get the best perception from understanding the best things. So, understanding everything from their, you know, and their, you know, exhaustively, is my point. So, all in all, that's what we were doing. And as far as the, you know, individually and discipline, I'm on that right now. Like I was on it at one point. Like, you know, I lost a lot of weight, and, you know, when I first came into the country, started eating right, whatever. Personal things happened, and I got sidetracked. You know, my psychology changed, but, you know, I'm in the process of working on that discipline. And I think, you know, not to sound far-fetched here, but like when, you know, we watch movies, and, you know, we watch Steven Seagal and, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme and whoever, you know, all the rest, you know, they do they slick moves, you know, Blade, you know, all these things. And it's you really gonna have to know that type of stuff if it comes to that. You understand? You're gonna have to be a cold something. You know what I'm saying? And you should have that in your mind. And like you're saying, I think it's very valuable. The points that the points that you make so far, the 8 points, are so relevant and so specific, because those are the things that are going to really, you know what I'm saying, like just be right in your face. And like the defense aspect is going to be the main part. So, you know, I just wanted to, you know, just add that for context.
Indeed, definitely. You know, I wanted to bring up something that you said, L, too, about putting firearm together and putting it back, cleaning it. There's a video clip of some Russian teenagers, like early teens, too. And they got that, like a contest, not necessarily a contest, but they, like in the class, learning how to take apart and put together AK-47s and stuff for like 10, 20 seconds flat, you know what I mean? So you're definitely right. And what you said, Jad, you know, we got to get on that Book of Eli flow. I personally think we need to be getting on our superhero flow, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to transform out this John quick. You know what I mean? Word up. But 50, what you want to add to the table so far?
Yeah, I mean, because I thought she was going to talk about the video I was about to talk about. Did you see the video of the two 11, 12-year-olds? One had a Rubik's Cube, another one had a pistol, and they were challenging each other who could solve the Rubik's Cube faster or take the gun apart and put it back together quickly. They both did it. One had the Rubik's Cube, one had the gun. Then they switched off. The other one had the gun, the other one had the Rubik's Cube. So, yeah, you definitely have to know how to handle a firearm, you know. You know, and basically, you know, if things were to pop off, man, you know, you have to really understand life. You have to understand people. And, you know, Shai, you know, I've been talking about this stuff for a long time, and you really have to understand, you know, people. You have to understand the mentality, because certain people function a different way, no matter how close they are to you, no matter if they're your kids. You got to be aligned and on the same frequency as people, because if you're not on the same frequency as people, there's going to always be conflict, you know. And when it comes to the point of whether you have a harem, whether you have finance situations going on in businesses, all that shit is going to crumble. Then what you're going to do? You know how to fight. You're going to have to know how to handle your weapon. You're going to have to know how to deal with different individuals that are in your camp that you know is just going to spark shit off and compromise everything that you were trying to build to be sustainable for anyone that you have in your harem, camp, compound, whatever, underground facility, anything that you may have. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, you have to know how to live life. Because along with living life is knowing all the things that we're talking about right now.
Hey, let me add this real quick too, before we go on, Shyaam, real quick. Another thing about when we was talking about what as far as Paul and them were saying about the spiritual and the science and stuff, we got to keep in mind that we gonna really have to get in tune with nature. That's what it's really all about. You know what I'm saying? Because when everything collapsed, we talking about electricity gone, water gone, all these type of things. So we gonna have to get in tune with nature, know what the plants do, everything, and be able to read the stars. This is why astrology is helpful, and all these things that in so-called civilized society, where it's actually savagery, but civilized society, that we relied upon, and also the things that they told us that is the devil that you should stay away from, blah 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 blah. Those are the things you're gonna need to rely on. Everything gonna be relevant. Voodoo and everything gonna be relevant when they go to shit. So with that,
interesting thing about that is I seen a documentary over about African witch doctors or something like that. Dude was performing brain surgery. Now, granted, when they put the head back together, they looked the same, but they was alive.
I've seen that.
Sterile. You saw that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then, to what you saying too, 50. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. Like I said earlier. You know what I mean? Touching on that point, you got to know people. You know what I mean? You got to know how to deal with people. You know what I mean? You got to know all that.
One more thing I want to add to that, and I want everybody to understand this, what I'm about to say. What are you going to do when shit pop off and you can't trust your own child? Because your child is just on some other shit. Maybe on some shit that another family member or the mother's on. But what are you going to do when shit pop off and your child goes against you? Because if you look back in history, how many times have the child has gone against the father or the father?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because, Pocahontas, and several other stories like that, She was told not to show the Europeans how to grow, sow seed and all that, and she did it anyway. And they got wiped out. And some situations, Allah knows best. Allah knows best. But
Good point, Al. Because I think one of the things that we definitely want to make clear though is these are things that we should be on, things we should be striving for, things we should be doing. The point of perfection and making sure you have a foolproof plan that is impenetrable is unrealistic because you're always going to have to adapt. So nothing's 100%. And like you said, Allah knows best. You know what I'm saying? Not everything can be planned for. But like you said, you do have people in your family that's traitors, your children, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to challenge everybody to check the movie Curse of the Golden Flower if you get a chance. It shows how a father dealt with one of his rebellious sons who wanted to side with his mother. Very good movie, too, by the way, Curse of the Golden Flower. It's an Asian flick. And just to touch on, again, a point that you made, Jad, is, you know what I mean, all of the natural science skills is going to come into play, and it's very crucial. But I want to get to the lines right now, okay? So we're going to give...
Let me just say that real quick. I shared it a while ago. There was a video of some location in Africa where they was living in like a village type environment, and they took a bucket, some water, some wire, and a couple other simple objects that here in America we might have laying around our house, and created electricity. Because of the knowledge base that we have today, I think that even during the post-apocalyptic era, there's still going to be a level of tech, as we were speaking on earlier. But with that, I'm digressing.
No, you're right. I know the video you're talking about, too, definitely. I know the video you're talking about. But that's what I'm saying. Unless it's a situation like Revolution where there was no electricity because they let a release of nanoparticles in the air, we're going to have the ability to still have tech available. You know what I mean? To some degree. You know what I mean? Definitely.
But
with that, we're going to go to the line.
You're going to have to get your MacGyver on. You're going to have to get your MacGyver on.
Absolutely.
The old MacGyver.
That's the show.
Right.
We got caller ending in 2325. Peace, you on the air. What's your name? What you want to share with us?
Assalamu alaikum, it's Kimo.
Wa alaikum salam, Kimo. What's going on, good brother? How's everything?
Good. Everything good, man. I got the email kind of late, but I thought I'd chime in.
Indeed. What you want to share with us, brother?
We was talking about, the underground facilities, and one of the things that I want to tell people is, in my industry, I get to see a lot, and I'm in the trucking industry. And being in the trucking industry, you probably one of the first to realize whether the economy is doing good or whether the economy is doing bad. Whether the freight is moving in the country, that determines whether it's stable or it's unstable. And a lot of people don't understand that it's very unstable at the moment because of the freight rates, the prices of fuel, et cetera, et cetera. And I know out in Missouri, I shot you a text, but out in Missouri, they got a cave, and it's funny that it happened. I was watching YouTube, and Jesse Ventura, I think that's how his name is, they did a special on this cave. Now, you got Kraft and a few other companies that are located in this cave in Springfield, Missouri. I've been in the cave, and we used to haul out of freight in and out of that cave. Well, it's massive how far this cave is.
Is that the cave that's connected to the one in Nebraska?
It goes from Nebraska. You got this compound that they are building in Missouri, in the Ozarks.
Right.
And then they go all the way to Maine. Yeah, go all the way to Maine. And, we got 18-wheelers in there. 18-wheelers got like a 13-foot, 6-inch.
Hold on, brother. Pause. Hold on, brother. I don't mean to cut your wisdom. You said this thing, this straight leg all the way to Maine, bro?
All the way to Maine.
Before you say something, remember that earthquake that you guys felt on the East Coast back in 2010?
Yeah, I was in North Carolina at that point.
Okay.
There's
from
a
Georgia all the way
story about that, though.
Now there was a Russian scientist that came on and said that it was actually an explosion that was in one of those underground facilities, that the tunnel goes all the way from Georgia all the way up to Connecticut, and that's why it was felt so far away. So what the brother
there's also
right
some backdrop to that, because I want the brother Kimo to finish his train of thought. Apologies for cutting you off, brother, but that's just crazy. But there's some also backstory on that talks about some alien stuff and all of that, and how they was messing up the Illuminati elites, underground bases, blah, blah, blah. But I want you to finish your thoughts, please. Continue. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother, but continue. So you've been to these bases. You've been there. You've been trucking in and out of this place.
Oh, they got plenty. You'll see it. Like I said, if anybody do the YouTube, it's not, and I understand the conspiracy is the concern, or, the people wanting to get a little bit deeper in it. But when you actually in it, you see it, it's unreal. The size, even in my truck, you feel like an ant in this big world. It's just unreal how big it is. And you got a lot of major companies that's pulling a lot of food in, but they give also the illusion that, it's just a hub where, we pulling in. They took an old cave facility and they, put office buildings and et cetera inside, and then we just hauling out. But, you got big tents that cover up these openings. These openings got to be 3 times the size or the height of my truck, 4 times the height of my truck. And you can, and it's probably like maybe 5 truck lengths in width. So it's massive. And then I'm talking about at least 18 to 20 different sections where it spreads out in all directions. But when you go out west, it's a totally different society. We talk about the Union States, but when you move out west, the mentality of the people, the structure of their communities is totally different. Like you go down to Kentucky, when you talk about survival skills and being a prepper, they take this is like their pastime. It's not to be played with. They want it. When you go out to Arizona, you talk about the militia. They there and they heavy. You can't miss them. It's well understood. And we talk about, you know, like in let's say the East Coast, you know, MMA, and et cetera, and survival skills, martial arts. One of the, and you talk about the Russians, well, if, you know, in this industry, you got a lot of brothers that's coming into the trucking industry, but you also got a lot of Indians out here, a lot of Spanish out here, and a lot of Russians out here. And their system or their national martial art is systemic. And a lot of people don't understand it, but their martial art is based off of their fitness program, how they move, and you know, and everything. And what I'm trying to tie it all together is that we take for granted what we see, and we say that, you know, the hillbillies or the people in, you know, out in West Virginia, et cetera, you know, how they live. But the way they live is sustainable. The way we live is not. And, you know, I've seen it from my own eyes in a truck stop. Brothers in their truck, AK-47s, to break it down in less than 10 seconds. Take a Glock 27, a Glock 26, 40 cal, 9mm, break it down in less than 5 seconds. And, you know, these numbers, you be like, man, that's unreal. But it's true. You know, so, I mean, and it sound like scare tactics probably to some people, but when all fails, shit hit the fan. And by the grace of Allah, you know, you can only ask that, you know, we have the ability to reason and think logically, et cetera, that people will catch on to what's really going on out here. It's not until you get outside your environment and then you start to see how other people are living that you start to see that, man, I'm behind the curve, I'm behind the 8-ball. And so I would suggest that people take this seriously, because when you move off of the major cities into the rural areas, they not playing no games out here. Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, Colorado, Arizona, and Wyoming, the militias is heavy out there. It's a common practice for them to engage in hunting, fishing, survival skills. You know, we talk about some of the products that are being created in America. They say it's no industry in America. It's a major industry within the prepper community on all these different tactics, from 100% wool to, you know, fire starters, etc. How they're making a shit ton of money, and that nobody else is getting a whim of it. And the last thing I would say is that, you know, as far as like how you teach somebody to invest, you don't, being in, you know, you take the industry that you are accustomed to, that you have a good knowledge of, and then you find out how you can exploit. So if I was a truck driver, you know, and I know that besides fuel, tires and rubber is one of the next major expense that we have to contend with. So you don't buy Firestone, you don't buy Bridgestone, you don't buy Goodyear, you buy the rubber that go into making these companies' product. And this is one of the things that these people understand, and they are reaping the benefits off of it. And I said that was the last thing, but the last thing I will say is that I remember I was out in Wyoming, and the guy said something to me. I had my wife with me at the time, and she was like, "Man, it smell like shit." He said, "Yeah, that's what money smell like." And the reason I'm saying that is because agriculture, land that we take for granted, we don't want to go out there in the rural areas and cultivate and do things that these people are doing, that black folk Moors, et cetera, are unwilling to do, but they're doing it on a daily basis, staying in their communities. They have a valuable thing in place where we don't understand local government. We don't understand how that's trickled, that's spiraled into every neighboring community, township, municipality around them is getting into cahoots with that, and it's moving to a state level, and then you take it to a national level, and then you understand why they say, "Oh, we want in New York, we want in this," because it's all a synergistic type of thing, from survival skills to group economics to so on and so forth. Black folks, Moors, so on and so forth, got to wake up and start realizing that outside of your community, there are other communities that are thriving, even in the midst of an economic downturn that we supposed to be keeping our eyes and ears tuned into, but we're not doing it. And if you don't do it, you know, it will be written in stone, I guess.
What's your name, brother?
Akimu.
Hey, man, you know what? Man, I want to thank you for calling in, man, because you said a lot that I wanted to say.
Bombs. I gotta add some bombs dropped to this joint because you was dropping it, brother.
I'm gonna be honest. You said it better than I would ever say it, because I would probably just run on and keep saying stuff. But you said it just right, because I mean, I'm gonna throw something at you too, man, because you were right about the truck drivers. Truck drivers do know everything that's going on before everyone else, because when that Supernatural Highway started being built, it hurt you guys very badly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let me cut you. I'm gonna tell you something else that people don't understand. You know, when you booking freight, you guys, you know, this industry is like the last of the Mohegans. Like, you meaning that it's probably one of the last industries that was not yet. You know, you go to the mid '80s, you had people that was getting, you know, where you can get your broker license for little to nothing. Now they have raised the stakes to like 100,000, some, you know, in some places, and it making it hard for the mom and pops. And you got to understand, when you talk about small business, small truck stops, in these rural communities was keeping those communities afloat. When you take those out the situation, and you add into these major corporations like a Travel Center of America, Petro, Love, etc., you start to take away from the funding for that community. But one of the things is these truck stops is like a community within itself. And the conversations that go on there is something that you could really like learn from, because you got so much wisdom condensed into a small area. And throughout this nation, you know, you see, I mean, the amount of military equipment that is being moved in position, and the rates that, like, you can get a higher rate. When we talk about most company drivers make 45 cents, and that's the highest per mile. 45 cents. These company drivers making 45 cents a mile, and that's the best that you could do as a company driver. Well, these owner-operators who own their own truck, who book their own loads, they're getting, for that same load, up to $3, $4, $5 a mile. And they're moving freight for the military $6, $7, $8 a mile. And it's so much that's being moved and positioned across this country. And when you hear stories of FEMA camps and, you know, these over here and this, that, and the third, people take it for granted like, that's a conspiracy theory. But I'm telling you, just for those who are listening in, when you ride down the highway and you see a tank or a Humvee or anything like that on the back of a truck, keep this in mind, what I'm telling you. That driver, he don't care where he's taking it to. Because you got, like, wolves or crabs in a bucket that's trying to pull each other down in this industry. But they're doing it at a cost that they don't understand, that they're putting their fellow man and woman and child in danger because they're positioning equipment all across this country, and then you start to make sense when you start hearing about the border around this nation and 100-mile squares,
I gotta
et cetera,
stop you there, brother. I got to stop you there. If you got time, please stay on the line. I got to get these other callers in. We got about 19 minutes left. Again,
I'm sorry,
if y'all listening.
I was rumbling.
No, please do. I want you to stay on because I know you got a lot of insight to this stuff because the one thing we was talking about earlier about the distribution centers, it's the truck drivers that is the blood in the vein. They're the carriers for this country. You know what I mean? They get everything to and fro.
If the truck drivers was to go on strike, and for one day it'll collapse this economy. Get that thought. Get that thought.
Indeed.
If truck drivers, this is a major import country because we have allowed all our.
I got to stop you there, bro. I got you.
Okay.
We stay on the line, though. Stay on the line.
All right.
And again, if anyone's listening, we got about 18 minutes left. Call in now. If you got a question or comment, press 1 so you can be in the queue. We're going to carry over, and you will be able to be heard on the playback. Call-in number is 917-889-8220. But please, Akeem, stay on the line with us. I got to get these other callers in. We got G-Code on the line. Peace, brother. What's going on? What you want to share with us?
What's going down, man?
What's the deal?
I had a lot to say, man. I lost a lot of thoughts, but L said something that I was going to touch on that stuck in my mind about in a collapse, there still will be some technology left, and he's absolutely right. I mean, unless we get Russia or China over here blowing up our grid, it's always going to be some tech, but we don't understand what technology is, so we won't understand tech. If you can't, or you don't have, or you don't understand why they had a mass trade-in on your old phones to get new phones, then you don't understand what tech is. If you don't know what an amplified module radio is, AM radio, you don't know what tech is. These are what you call advanced technology. This shit we talking on is not advanced technology. I mean, if you don't know how to take your cell phone right now, turn it off, go to airplane mode, and pick up another signal or pick up another tower, you're not ready. The first people who will go, sadly, I think we kind of missing the picture. It will be the so-called thug niggas that think they hard. They'll be the first ones to go. The first ones to go. Because they're going to shoot all their bullets because they're cowards, and that's how they do it. They'll be the first ones to go. Man, I had so much to say. Let me see. You spoke on, getting out to major cities and whatnot. That's a great idea, man. I mean, I don't understand. It's not for me to understand, but you said a lot on it. L said a lot on it. Jazz said a lot on it. Get away from the inner cities, man. They big rat traps, you know what I'm saying? So, as far as the collapse on a bigger scale, I don't think it's going to be what a lot of people think it's going to be. And, I think you understand. L understands. I understand. I think all y'all understand. Mass murder is nothing but a bank run. That's all it is. So there's going to be a mass bank run, of course, but we calling it a purge. We calling it this. We calling it that. If you want an example of what I'm talking about, go look at Puerto Rico right now. Go look at Argentina right now. Go look at Venezuela right now. I mean, we're talking about something that's going to happen that's already happening. It just hadn't hit us. You know what I'm saying? It's already happening. I mean, that's why Brazil protected itself. Brazil was smart. We're not smart. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of things you're talking about, homie, we got to implement them. If you're not ready to rub mud on your face to prevent mosquitoes from biting your ass, you ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? If you're not ready to kill a man with a knife, you're not ready. We'll run out. You don't have more bullets than the Peckerwood militias. So, I mean, we need to quit playing. We need to quit playing and just get to the real, simple truths about it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say. I had a lot more, but that's it, man.
If you can stay with us, definitely stay on the line. If you remember anything, you know what I'm saying, just definitely we're going to be able to get in some more after this hour right here, after this 15 minutes is up. So definitely, you know what I mean, definitely appreciate you calling and sharing that with us. You know, brothers, it's getting real out here. You know, the thing about Venezuela, too, is they ran out of food down there. They ran out of
Absolutely.
This thing is completely gone. You know what I'm saying? So definitely right about that. It's already happening all over the planet. You know what I mean? So definitely, though, stay with us. If you remember what you were going to say, just unmute your phone and jump in when you can. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to go to the next caller. We have caller ending in 4931. Peace, you're on the air. What's your name? What you want to share with us?
Yo, peace. What up, though? Yo, this is G1 from the Detroit. Yo, hey, I was listening to y'all, man. Everybody been making real good points, man. I think, yo, it's obvious, like, what y'all saying is, yo, we got to, like, yo, get tuned up with nature, get in tune, and, like, build our skills. And, you know, that's the only way we're going to, like, really survive if anything do collapse. But, yo, I'm with y'all on, like, we got to get into this agriculture and, yo, technology, I think, will still exist, you know, like we can do solar. And, like, yo, this, like, copper and all this, you know, everything in the elements we can, like, you know, we got to just, you know, have some know-how and build. So, you know, everybody can't do everything, but, you know, if everybody just play their role and get, you know, play their part, you know, we all just, like, unify and come together. I could see, you know, what y'all saying, how this, like, could be, like, you know, real on something that's, like, working, you know, like a community somewhere, like, you know, like, and as far as, like, getting out the cities, like you were saying, like, I was building with a Boricua cat. You know, he was actually from NY up here in Michigan by way of like New Orleans and all that. He had been through Katrina and everything, but he be doing like a lot of conspiracy research, and me and him was just building. But he was saying like how he noticed how the infrastructure of America is collapsing. Like as far as y'all was saying in the cities and stuff, it's not a safe place for if something go down, everybody's gonna be like a brat race. It's nothing like everything's collapsing. But he was saying like as far as here in Detroit and out in Colorado, the billionaires is racing for these two they the safest locations as far as like Denver's a mile high. You know, they got them caves like y'all was building on. They going deep into the caves. They got like the second governmental, like I don't know, department is already set up for the billionaires is out there. But they also racing for Detroit because we got the freshest lake, you know, water supply in the world. Like, and as far as like we right in the middle. Like New York, you know, they were saying what he was saying, how like, you know, the water's gonna like rise in New York and all that's gonna fall off. You know, the Gulf Coast is already, you know, fucked over because of the oil spills and everything, and then like the West Coast is like mad dry. They getting water from us in Michigan and stuff like that. So
right.
I don't know. I think Detroit is kind of like of a good place still. Like I think, you know, and it's like a lot of land. Like so we could come up here and like scoop it up. We got the also the marijuana thing, the medical marijuana, so we can also get paid and kush crops. You know what I mean? It's still in effect. You know, Cheyenne. You know what I mean? But yeah, we can do some things like that. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, man, I've been looking at it like that, and yeah, what y'all saying is just, you know, is all real, man. I think all y'all made good points, but I'm gonna leave it like that. You know, somebody else could say something else. Yep.
Yeah, what you said about Denver.
Sharing that with us, brother. Hold on one second. Appreciate you calling and sharing that with us. You know what I mean? Definitely, we're gonna build. If you want to stay on the line, please do. You're gonna have more time to speak after these 11 minutes is up and we on the third hour. All right, so definitely hold your call if you got some more to say. Definitely appreciate you calling in and sharing that with us. Everybody else, indeed. If everybody else just hold your comments. Say it again?
No, I'm going to wait till after the 11 minutes to comment on
that. Yeah. Everybody just hold your peace real quick. If you got to jot your thoughts down, this is a real hot show right now. I know everybody got something to say. Just jot your thought down or whatever. We will get back to you. Everybody going to be able to get their bars in on this next hour. I just want to get to the next caller. We got a caller ending in 5272. Peace, you on the air. What's your name? What you want to share with us?
Alhamdulillah. Zakeen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, man. I've been checking out the cluster of show topics. You know, I didn't catch them all, and I'm seeing there's a lot of relevance, and they kind of mesh into each other. Like I was just listening to the second show on polygamy or something like that. And it kind of fits in, like, because the topics, the conversation on that topic kind of went into these type of things of being ready and putting yourself in a position to, you know, be able to overcome in the insurgency. So, you know, I understand, you know, where we're going with it as far as, you know, building. Because I was an EO. I wanted to get into what the brother was saying. He made a good point. The driver, because I was in the military for a short, and that was my rate, an EO, equipment operator. And this is something I wanted to share. Like, we had a situation with, you know, being a community of or whatever, soldiers or whatever, you know, the toilet situation had backed up. If it's not for the equipment operators and stuff who are dropping off and carrying stuff, that could become an issue. So we have to really understand that human compost is something that you might have to deal with as far as growing and things of that nature. And it's just, you know, that these are different things that we have to think about that we don't usually, because it's just water and you flushing and, you know, but under certain circumstances, you know, things do change. So how do you go about, you know, managing waste management would be issues in communities and things of that nature when the shit hit the fan, you know, no pun intended, but, you know, it's just different topics. This is beautiful how I basically just want to make a statement. This is beautiful how all of these things, these topic clusters mesh into each other as far as, you know, the relevancy of the information.
Definitely, brother. I mean, like I was saying before, there's a rhyme and a reason to these shows, you know what I mean? And they all correlate with each other in one way or another, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely, and I brought up that earlier about sewage, you know what I'm saying? And you're absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't think about that kind of stuff, waste management and dealing with that. And as it's definitely something people really need to pay attention to, because
I didn't learn how to shoot, though. I thought I knew how to shoot, but until I went to the military. I went kind of late. And it's different when shells is popping and things, you know, shells is flying over your head and going near your collar and they hot and it's, you know, and when things is really popping off, we in the firing line, you're going to hear a lot of noise and you really got to stay on target. A lot of us, you know, we not really built for, like, we do have to train. That's something you have to train with, you know, because when the battle is really on, it's a lot different than what people think. You know, I learned that by just being in the fire line. That was my first time really learning how to shoot, and it took a long time. I got a scar to prove it. You know what I mean? Because I was on the wrong side of a post, and the shell went into my glasses and burnt under my eye. So, you know, it's real. You know, this is a real thing. And the skills that we are lacking, we do. You have to be trained. You have to get those skills. You know, and I figured that out really the hard way in a late time in my life. You know, so if others could get that early, it would be definitely beneficial and good, because when it's on, it's really, really different, man. And you know, it's really different.
Definitely. Appreciate you calling in and sharing that with us.
Yes,
Stay
sir.
on the line, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
We definitely going to get back to you in the next hour, you know what I mean? Definitely stay on the line, though, bro. Appreciate you calling in and sharing that with us.
Yes, sir.
We have caller ending in 6980. Peace, you on the air. What's your name? What you want to share with us?
Peace. This is Tremaine from Texas, from Houston. Now I'm America's mainstay.
What's the deal, brother?
Just cooling, man. I just wanted to add my 2 cents to that. We was talking about land and Texas being in the middle of the country, and you know, a few other places, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and whatnot. And it was funny that you mentioned that Texas has, you know, the acreage is a little more expensive than the several other states that you mentioned, because I was just checking out someone had like acreage that they were trying to divvy up. They didn't really want to come off it entirety. But if you know someone who is kind of well versed, at least down here in Southeast Texas, if you're dealing with Central Texas, you go close to Midland or whatnot, where all of the oil refinery millionaires or billionaires are occupied, you may pay a lot more. But down here in the Southeast, like on the outskirts of the greater Houston area, on the outskirts of Houston and whatnot, they got quarter acres going for like $800. Like, you can mess around and come across an acre for like
right
like 2,500. So
especially by the border, right? By the border.
Say that again, boss.
By the Mexican border. That's
Well, no, not quite, because I'm closest. The closest border to me is the Galveston, the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
I'm in Houston, so I got to drive past Corpus Christi, El Paso, Farias border before I get anywhere near actually getting to Mexico. So it's more like southeast, I'd say. It's close to Galveston. Like if we go south, if I'm trying
but you
to
said close to
Mexico,
Houston, right?
I'm in Houston. You know what I'm saying? I'm just on the outskirts, outside the Houston city limits. And
because Houston can be having that flooding problem. You know what I'm saying? Like they just had a major flood out there too.
Houston
so that's kind of why I was shying away from Houston.
You're absolutely right about that, because I also drive for Uber, man. And Houston has bad flooding issues. That's no doubt. But there are certain areas that just basically got poor drainage. It's not the entirety of Houston. It's certain neighborhoods, and those areas are always apartment city. They're never subdivision homes, rural, anywhere outskirt where you actually got ranches, 4 acres between each home. Those are the real city areas where it always floods. They got apartments, don't nobody really own no property, so ain't nobody really getting on no aldermans or are really doing any, thing with their region, area, making sure that they stay on top of things within the city. So those, within a neighborhood. So there are places where people slacking. If you kind of look between the lines where those flooding areas occur, no one owns any property. It's a lot of government housing, and are white folks who are renting an apartment because of where they work. And those are always the places that flood, man. Anytime it's a subdivision, where people owning their land and property, you don't have, and it'll be like a 2-mile radius from each other because of something as small as poor city planning and them not keeping the upkeep on the flooding system. They're not unclogging it or whatever. So it'd be real minor reasons why the city flood, where it floods, when it floods.
Okay.
I'm not even talking about within the city, Houston limit.
So you were saying closer to the border? Galveston is a good area to look, is what you're saying.
No, it's not, because it floods worse. I'm just saying I drove north from leaving Houston going towards Tyler or Dallas per se, but not even 50 miles outside of Houston to a small town called Willis, Texas. Small area. It's right next to Conroe. Those are the places that you can find an acre $2,000.
Yeah.
They crazy. Yeah, it's just high grass. And they got a billboard saying, call this. Go ahead, boss.
No, I've been there. I know what you're talking about. My family, my great-grandpa used to own property right there in Conroe. So, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. And you can, it can be done. I mean, I'm not going to say in certain parts of Texas that are expensive because they're real close to, they ain't even on a map like Midtown. That's where everybody that own all the oil refineries stay. And, yeah, you try to go, but they smack dab out of nowhere. So if you try to go Central Texas and get some land, then, yeah. You try to go North Texas by Dallas, then you're going to have some issues. But, out here in Houston, their main monopolies is aerospace and oil. So they're not really cutthroat on the real estate like in other parts of Texas. You find a lot of cheap land out here. So I just want to throw that out there because I'm Miracush and I wanted that to be known. Because,
Indeed,
you just got to know where to search.
What's your name again, brother?
Trey. I mean, I go by Trey for short. I deal with, I'm always weaving in and out the matrix. So, I don't really throw,
okay.
no doubt. My Islam name out there. So everybody know me by Trey, though.
I got you. All right, no doubt. Miracush in the house, in the building. That's what it is. All right, brother. If you got more to say, definitely stay.
I'll do that. Shyaam and them know of me, man. I haven't been too vocal for about a year or so, but they can look me up. I'm in the system.
All right, no doubt. I'm Shyaam, so you good. You Gucci.
Yeah, boss. Yeah.
All right, so if you got more to say, just stay on the line. We coming into the next hour, so I'm going to get these other callers in real quick, and then we're going to recycle back and get to everybody that we didn't get to and get to my co-hosts to see what they got to say about this. Definitely appreciate you calling in. All right, so we'll be getting right back to you. All right, cool. All right, we're going to go caller ending in, again, we got, call in now if you're listening. It's about a few seconds left. If you don't catch it, then you don't catch it. But you will be able to hear everybody on the playback. All right, we're in the next hour. So let me get these other callers in, and we're going to keep it moving. We got caller ending in 6103. Peace, you're on the air. What's your name? What you want to share with us? Caller ending in 6103. You're on the air. Seems like the brother is not available.
Can you hear me?
We're gonna go. Yes. Okay, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Greetings. This is Sister Paraki. How are you all?
Peace. How you doing? What's your name again?
Parakia.
Palaxia?
Yes.
All right. How you doing? What you want to share with us?
Good. I just want to add that, the sustainable living piece is absolutely necessary. I always say that we are our greatest wealth, what I know, what you know. I saw the email and the subject matter being discussed, and I wanted to know two things. One is the percentage or the ratio to male and female within the nation, and I saw the topic of discussion being about harems. So please elaborate if I'm incorrect about, I thought harems was about, white women slaves. And if that is correct, how does that fit in the future of your nation? Those are my questions. Thank you.
Appreciate you calling in and having that question for us. Let me explain a couple of things to you. The word harem is a word that comes out of Arabic, means haram, means forbidden. And if you Google it, the word pretty much pertains to a location or place wherein which a Muslim man in general, but the word itself is functionally operated historically outside of Muslims, like Egyptians had it, Chinese had it, so on and so forth. But in Islam specifically, it pertains to a man who has a home or some kind of quarters where he keeps the female members, whether that's family, children, his wives, his servant women, they all would be in a harem. It was off limits to other men and people that's outside of that particular realm. So that's functionally what a harem is, okay? As far as the ratio in Marrakesh, there's not many women that's Marrakesh. It's mostly brothers. That's for a number of reasons, mainly because we're pro-patriarchy, and that I guess that pretty much is not attractive to a lot of women. So that's what that question. That's the answer to that question, as well as the fact that as far as harems pertaining to just it being of white women, that's not necessarily true. That's pretty much when you dig into the harems in Spain, the Moorish harems in Spain, and parts of North Africa. Again, there were like a lot of women who were coming in as servants, so they would serve in the harem. So that's where I come from, but it's not exclusive to any particular ethnicity. So in general terms, a harem is just a place where a man keeps the women sequestered, so to speak, for lack of better words, and protected from outside infringement and forces. Okay, and they pretty much work in that, in that capacity. Did that satisfactorily answer your questions?
I believe it did. Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it. You got any other questions?
Why do you think that not many sisters are attracted to Marrakesh other than it being a patriarch? And historically, women have there have been historically matriarchs or matriarchal societies where women did rule and wield power. What was the term for? How did that turn in Moorish civilization? How do you account for the shift?
Well, in North Africa, let's put it like this: every culture of people have a monotheistic stage, but there's certain discussions that would allude to the fact that the interpretation of ancient societies have not been correctly interpreted. So, put it like this: once the Abrahamic faith came on the scene, and once Islam spread to North Africa, it pretty much put aside the matriarchy that existed, and because when the Moors fell to Rome during the Punic Wars, practicing polytheism, and they were either matrifocal or matrilineal or matriarchal, and that pretty much made them weaker to, defend what they had. Another example I'll give you is the Kikuyu people of Kenya. The Kikuyu people of Kenya, they said that they long ago was ruled by a matriarchy, and it was so oppressive and so tyrannical that they overthrew it and vowed to never return to that form of government ever again. And what we see is anytime we're ruled under a matriarchy, it's just not a good thing for the men. You know what I'm saying? It's just not a good thing. And because we're Islamic, Murukush in particular, matriarchies it's not functionally going to allow us to overcome the situations that we're dealing with. So that's just why we don't support it. That's why we don't, and that's why Murukush is by and large unattractive to a lot of quote unquote sisters, because I understand they want a level of power, they want a level of say-so and things. We particularly subscribe to the fact that for the last 500 years, they have had that particular power, they have had that particular say-so, and it has only led to ruin and our detriment. And so that's why we're not supporters of women ruling over men and supporters of the patriarchy, the matriarchy in particular. Hopefully that, answers your question. I don't know if it did satisfactorily. Did it?
It's your answer. So I appreciate everything that's been said.
Appreciate it. Thank you for calling in and sharing that with us. Okay?
All right.
Thanks a lot. All right, we're going to the next caller. We have caller ending in 5682. Peace, you on the air. What's your name? What you want to share with us? You got to mute your Walaikum Salam. You got to mute your background because it's gonna double up on the voice. You mute the radio show on the back.
Okay, am I clear?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All right. This is Ariel from the America site. I've been checking in on the last few shows, and I definitely want to say honors and thank you, because I haven't spoken to you brothers in a while. You and Ilamir, as far as the liberation movement that you guys are putting forth, I definitely got to get on the ball myself. But one of the things that I definitely wanted to share in the topic of the conversation is that I enjoyed all the points that everybody's making. One of the key things that comes along with this, and some of you brothers have already hit on it, but one of the key things, no matter what, is going to be discipline. At the end of the day, it's definitely going to be a lot of discipline that comes along with this particular aspect. Doing a lot of things you don't want to do, doing a lot of things when you don't want to do it. And that comes down to, I know somebody said something about what do you do with children that don't want to be obedient, that just don't want to follow, things of that nature. you got to go back to the original scheme of things. You know what I'm saying? You can't save everybody. And one of the biggest things is, in this particular lifespan, is learning to let go. So, you know, hey, you can't actually have this particular aspect going on with bringing a community together and having somebody disrupt it, and it's actually to the detriment of everybody in the community. So that's one particular aspect. The other aspect, I actually have done some of actually the homesteading particular techniques, doing solar panels and learning how to actually plant crops. There's certain crops that you can grow in the wintertime, and you got to know the seasons. You got to know a lot of various aspects to go along with it. I have family members here in Atlanta that basically have like a half an acre, and they live off of the half an acre basically for, you know, the whole year for the crops that they grow: potatoes, collard greens, onions, different various fruits and things of that nature. And they go hunting at least maybe once or twice a year. They kill a deer, they got meat for the rest of the year. So it's various ways that you can actually go out here and sustain yourself. I know, like, somebody was speaking on the land aspect. Here in Atlanta, they do have places on the outskirts, not in the city, but actually in the rural areas of Georgia, that you can buy acreage. And one of the biggest things about buying acreage, especially when it has a lot of trees, is that when you're setting up camp, you know, right now while things aren't popping off, you can actually cut those trees down and sell those trees for profit. So you actually get resources in order to be able to do other things, you know, on the compound. So those are just some particular aspects I want to share with everybody.
Definitely appreciate you calling and sharing that with us. Another thing about Atlanta and that area in general is it's one of the highest elevations on the East Coast is that Atlanta area. So definitely, definitely appreciate you calling in and sharing that with us, brother. We definitely appreciate that. So we're going to go to the next caller. Pardon me, you wanted to say something else, brother?
No, that's my cell phone. Sorry about that.
All right. Appreciate it, though. All right, we have caller ending in 2942. Peace, you on the air. What's your name? What you want to share with us?
Cheyenne, what's good, man? It's Jew, man.
What's going on, brother? What's up, man? I was just talking about y'all earlier.
What's popping, man? Peace to everybody on the line, man, and all the callers. You know, great show, great topic. I just want to chime in, man, and share my little piece of the puzzle.
Please do.
You know, it's levels to this thing, man, and some people may not be in tune to different levels of understanding and wisdom, and so it may be hard for them to grasp certain concepts, and that's all right, you know, because everybody is where they at in their own consciousness to figure out what they're here to do. But I heard the word coding come up, and we into coding, but we into a whole nother level of coding. And the coding that I want to discuss with the family tonight is consciousness, man. You know, all of these things are plausible. All of them are probable to happen. But it is the thoughts collectively of man that perpetuate these type of events and these circumstances. You know, for roughly the last 3 or 4 years, me and my comrade, Ampu, you know, we've been studying this phenomenon regularly and putting it into practice. And what we've noticed is that, you know, from Charleston shootings and Boston Marathon bombings and Mike Browns, and even to the deaths of major political figures like Mandela and Chavez and Gaddafi, etc. What we found is that there's a rhythm to these type of events. And so we went back to look into history to see that these things correspond in similar patterns. And so we looked at World War I and World War II and 9/11 and the death of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. I mean, you name it. We have an extensive library of research to substantiate what I'm saying. And every time it's always the same indicators. Now, when man understands that collectively his thoughts, and this goes for everybody that's listening, it's just not for black folks or white folks or Orientals or whoever. Everybody on this planet is endowed with consciousness. And collectively, the sick thoughts of man is what facilitates these type of onslaughts or events or collapses. And so what I'm petitioning the crowd tonight to understand is that we all have to clean up our psychologies, man. If we don't clean up how we're thinking, what we're feeling, these things are inevitable to happen. However, if you understand that you can program and code this matrix, and I'm speaking from experience, this is not hyperbole or rhetoric, or I'm not trying to work up a workable philosophy of life. I can prove what I'm saying. People can testify to what I'm saying and what they've experienced from what we teach, man. You can program this matrix to fit your calling, to fit your desire, to fit your ambition. And so even in a moment of distress and turmoil and chaos, if you understand that your consciousness is lowered, that the operations of that particular function of yourself can create a sustainable environment for you, even though things are crazy around you, then you'll be good. And so that's really all I want to share with the family tonight, man. And, you know, honest to y'all, brothers, and keep up the good work, man.
Definitely honest. Appreciate you calling in. I was just talking about you earlier as far as when you was giving me that breakdown on how the theater is set up. The movie theaters is set up to actually, and the science was impeccable. But I tell you what, you know, and just before I say that, the last thing you just said, I think that's what the brother Akimu was alluding to as well, because you see how he says he sees this same function that you're talking about, where people are keeping their sanity and thriving around in the midst of this chaos in places that he's traveled to in the Midwest, so on and so forth. I'm not saying they're particularly using the knowledge you're discussing, but they are definitely of a certain consciousness that is allowing them to be situated in these times of chaos that's going on around them. But I would definitely love to have you on the show. I was supposed to get with you a while ago. I've been extremely busy, brother. I hope you apologies for that. I hope you forgive me for that. But we definitely work out something where you can give a more thorough breakdown, if you will, to my audience. It'd be greatly appreciated. So if possible, I'll definitely be getting at you soon to see if we can work something out like that, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah, man. It's all good. It's just no problem. I would love to come on and share some of the stuff that we got going on with your audience.
Definitely. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate it a lot. Appreciate you calling in and definitely sharing with us. Definitely means a lot. So
all right.
We're gonna go to the next caller. We have caller ending in 1702. Peace, you're on the air. What's your name? What you want to share with us?
Peace, God. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. What's going on?
Assalamu alaikum. Amir, yes. Amir, this Ja. Oh, man, you're not there?
Ja, over from Connecticut.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
peace
what's
to the
going on, man?
Yo, you know I had to hop in on this one, yo. Peace to everybody, Shyaam. Peace to everybody on. I've been listening, and the brother Jew I don't even need to go on and take much time because he already said where I was at with it. The only thing that I could do is piggyback off of it and say this. We got melanin. We know how the story ends. We win. If we use our energy right, and y'all was dead on with with the MPAC, and y'all dead on with pretty much everything. You know what I'm saying? But coming from me and Amir, know I'm a contractor up here in Connecticut. I do home improvement and new home construction. I'm on the board of directors with the Minority Construction Council. I don't like using that word minority, but I usually use minoritized because I just want people to know when things look grim, I look at the birth rate. Now, in the late 80s, when Soul to Soul and all that shit was popping, and I don't want to take too much time, but long story short, there was a article that came out from research that was done. And when you see the birth rate, you go from 0, 1, 2, 3 upwards, right? But you also have that same 0 and -1, -2, -3, right? So anyway, when things look grim, I try to share this with people. Look at the birth rate. Now, in the late 80s, around 87 to 89, this research was done, and it says, as melanated people, whatever that is, black and brown people, on the globe, they were at that time, +1, +2. When you're at -1, you're having just as much. When you're at 0, you're having just as much die off in your race or class than you're having birth, being born. So if black people in the 80s was +1, +2, they just had, at the beginning of this year, another research, that same research done to back it up, again, to see what the numbers are now. I should say this. At that time when black and brown people were at 1 and 2 positive, the Caucasians was at -2, -3, meaning they weren't producing enough that was dying off in numbers. So now that they did the research again, what they find, and I'll drive around listening to NPR. I just listen to the research. This is the white man saying about the white man. They're at -4, -5. We reached -4, -5 about 5 years ago, meaning there's more of us coming out. Now, they fudged the numbers. But anyway, if we use our energy correctly, pray, meditate, fast. Sometimes I can't get on this, and I'll be trying to listen, but this is during Isha at 9:30. So it's like I got to jump off or I got to wait till I make Salat. But
yeah, I
try to make sure I tune in and keep in close. But this is just, I just wanted to bring that to the situation. And another real quick thing was when my first wife, our 7 kids, they know how to hunt, gather, set fire. We got a fire pit in the back of the house. If the fire people come out, they be like, "Damn, y'all keep a good fire." And we got 10-year-old twins, the youngest, that can light a fire pit, go hunt, gather, and they on that shit. My second wife, she's good with the business part of things, and she keep my businesses that I have in construction flowing. But if we connect ourselves, what another part of an organization in Suitech that I'm in was we was told to infiltrate the churches, the jails, and the gangs. Churches is hard, you already know. But anyway, we have successfully infiltrated the gangs, so when shit pop off, the gangs are already on it. We have top-ranking people in jail, top-ranking people on Bloods, and top-ranking people on Crips that all come together when it comes to this black shit, because the Black Panther, the Bloods is a offspring of the Black Panther Party. That's just the history of where it comes from. So I just wanted to say that, and I'll just yield the floor. But peace to the gods, and Amir, I'm out here, man.
No doubt. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, salam alaikum, and all that, man. Thanks for calling in, brother, and sharing that with us. Definitely want to give you honors for teaching your youngins, you know what I mean, those essentials. We definitely congratulate the transmission of knowledge onto the youth. But again, appreciate you calling in and sharing that with us, you know what I'm saying? Definitely needed to hear that, you know, there's been brothers that's been making sure other groups and other orders are, getting in alignment, definitely. All right? We're going to go to caller ending in 8623. Peace, you're on the air. What's your name? What you want to share with us?
Peace, brothers. This is Mushtaq Bey from Georgia.
Peace, bro. What's going on? How's everything going?
Oh, pretty good, brother. Pretty good. I just wanted to chime in real quick. Heard the brother speaking about energy work. That's something I'm dealing with also, which is really powerful and it's been changing my life. And I've been dealing with this. I don't know if you ever heard of this. He's an Asian dude, but he's like a master, man. His name is Dr. Cam Ewan. He has a modality called the Ewan method.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, I've been dealing with some of his energy work, and it's real powerful. Real powerful. But I just had a quick question real quick. Say, for instance, if you really don't want to deal with America and the breakdown that's about to happen, what are some other viable places that you can go that you may want to leave this country? You know what I'm saying? Some other places that you may thrive. A brother, from over here may thrive.
Well, I've been looking into this as well. It depends on what you're looking for. You have certain factors in, like land. Certain land may be more fertile or better, but then it may be politically unstable. You know what I mean? So those are just different factors. There was an article I read of a brother who went to Morocco in the 80s. He's doing very well there, but I know they have some political instabilities there. Ghana seems to be the most politically stable out of the rest of the African nations, but Nigeria has the largest economy in Africa. You got people that talk about the Philippines and Thailand and stuff like that. However, if you're dealing with earthquakes or natural disasters, it may not be it may not be the best place. Then I've heard places. I've been looking at places like Costa Rica and Belize, but again, anything that's just like in the open on an island, I'm trying to be on the mainland per se. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of different places that are up for debate. But that's a question I struggle with myself, brother. But what I'm looking at, me personally, what I pay attention to as well is nuclear facilities. Now, the United States and a lot of European countries have an enormous amount of nuclear facilities. Now, I've done some research into it, and they say that a lot of these nuclear facilities in the United States aren't even top-level security. So, and then there's a couple of them that's even having Fukushima-type meltdowns. So you got to factor that into play as well. So places like I know in South America or in Africa, they don't have nuclear facilities, so that's not something you got to worry about. But no matter where you go, there's going to be pros and there's going to be cons, you know what I'm saying? So me personally, I've been looking into, I personally want to go to Morocco. And I want to set up businesses all over Africa, but I want to go, I kind of want to park it in Morocco because for various reasons, let's say Europe collapses and something like that, they're going to be trying to rush into North Africa. You know what I'm saying? The worst things get in Europe. There's going to be a reverse trend. You know what I'm saying? So there's some political. I'm into the political game as well. So you know what I mean. I have political reasons for looking at that particular place. But I was also thinking about certain places in West Africa like Senegal, but I'm not sure about Senegal because I don't know if I was speaking to a brother there. I don't know if they allow foreigners to set up companies out there, so that may be a drawback. But I was also looking at South America. I always liked Brazil because it's the lungs of the planet, but they're having a huge political instability right now. Their president is being impeached. You know what I'm saying? But it's all up in the air, brother. It's all up in the air. You know what I mean? But like the brother, what it's looking like though to me is, I might have to. It's a lot of skills I gotta still acquire. You know what I mean? Just in general. So it's like I gotta build something here. I gotta hunker down here before I fully embark on my travels. And but it's all up in the air. You know what I'm saying? But like the brother Minister Jew was saying, you know what I mean? We definitely gotta add the psychology of and the mentality of that energy work like you're talking about. Because like the brother said. The brother Kimo said earlier, You know, you got people that's thriving in this chaos. The thing that makes North America, I'm not scared of the drama. You know, the thing that makes me not want to be in North America is the brotherhood. The brotherhood is just not strong enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, brothers just, you know, it's just not strong enough. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's very difficult to get linked up and say, yo, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to move, and this is how we're going to roll out with it, and this is what it is. You know what I mean? I would be comfortable no matter what happens here if the brotherhood was like that. But that's the thing that makes me say, you know what, I may just have to, bounce. So that's my take on it, you know what I mean, as far as places abroad, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one of the same things also, because I talked to a lot of quote-unquote, conscious brothers, man, and a lot of them are, like, in denial when it comes to this collapse, you know what I'm saying, what's really going on, in society as far as breakdown. A lot of them don't want to talk about it. If you speak about it, they get quiet, and they just seem like they're in denial, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, and, this is a very great show, because I was listening to it. I saw the topic, my email. I said, okay, now these brothers, they know what time it is, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are not even talking about it, especially our people. They're not even discussing it. It's like they're in a state of denial.
A lot of people are in denial, man. They've been in denial for years, and no matter how much people see what's going on, or I keep saying stuff, or Shyaam say stuff, or anyone say stuff, people are going to find some way to escape, and that's what we used to call escapism. You know what I'm saying? You don't really see me posting too much stuff anymore and talking about it, because I would just say you have to make yourself aware of what's going on around you, but don't be paranoid, because when you're paranoid, that's when you go crazy. But you have to be prepared, and it has to be like second nature to you. You know what's going on, but you're not tripping off. You're still able to function, and that's what the brother was saying, the truck driver. You got to know what's going on around you, but you can't be paranoid, because you got to, like what Minister Drew said, you have to have self-discipline. You see what I'm saying? You have to discipline yourself, because it's very important, in these coming times. And now. You have to learn this stuff right now.
Right.
Definitely. I think also, I think one of the most important things we all should look at is acquiring real skills, getting in touch with nature, and definitely getting into our spiritual sciences is like a constant mainstay. Those three components is a case example. I really appreciate the sister calling in earlier with her questions, but that was a perfect case in point. She wanted to know more about the harems than about the other aspects of preparing for the collapse. You know what I mean? I mean, any woman doesn't have much choice. If a man is a protector, if a man is supposed to protect and provide security and be the first one to die in case of the incursions made upon the group, women don't have much of a choice if they're going to, be in a harem or not. You know what I'm saying? You either want the protection or you don't. You know what I'm saying? But that's another case in point of our people being distracted and not really understanding the gravity of what's going on. But at this point, I'm going to get back to the callers that were speaking, and I'm going to go in the order that we were in before. So I have you on the line, brother. So your line is unmuted, but just hold for a second. I'm going to bring some other brothers on, and if they got anything to say, we're going to see. But let me start with my co-hosts first. Elamir, is there anything you want to share with us at this point, or you just want to, wait for everybody else to get on?
Yeah. I'm gonna digress, but before that, I'm just, I'm glad those questions were thoroughly answered, because a lot of people try to view the term harem as if it's a connotation or denotation rather of some kind of enslavement of women, or white women per se, like she said, but and then the issue of the the matriarch is like it's very, very interesting that the psychology doesn't take cognizance of the actual current matriarchal structure that majority of quote-unquote black households actually are, with women having been the head of household for several generations. And even when we look back at the plantation era, they always had more authority than the males. And, but I just found it very, interesting, the perspective that, she approached things with. But with that, I'm going to digress and, let her move on.
Definitely. What I will say just shortly and briefly, again, as far as Marrakesh, I used to go back and forth on this issue a lot. And, I had to step back and I took a look at all of the other organizations and what they are doing and how they try to operate. I think there's many organizations out there enough who are catering to women, pandering to them. I'm not knocking them. I'm not saying anything negative about them. Good luck to them. I wish them all the best of luck, and I make dua and I make salat, and I pray that they are successful in their endeavors. However, we know as men, and I know as a man, that who is the prime mover in nature, and it is the men who get the job done, and it is the men who are truly the ones under attack, and it is the men who, if we are going to have a fighting chance of bringing anything back into compliance with our nature and the codes and the dictates of what our Creator has ordained for us to do, it is going to be the men who do it. Therefore, the focus and the onus is on the men. So what I advocate in particular, and what we try to advocate as a collective, is that brothers need to get on the ball, and we have to get back to what we used to do. Polygamy is natural. You know what I mean? Polygamy is natural. And monogamy, especially forced monogamy, is unnatural. And, we've never thrived under that system where we were forced to be monogamous, okay? And this is a feature, especially when you're talking about global economic collapse or a reset, per se, in nature. It's a feature that has to be at play and that will be at play if we are to sustain ourselves through this ordeal. So, I understand the women may feel some type of way, but that's not on me, that's on them. That's not my problem, that's their problem, because if the men get together, they set up what they're going to set up, the women, there hasn't been a woman or women in any society who had actually built that society or built that civilization. Even when you talk about matriarchal societies and cultures, they never built those cultures and societies or civilizations. It was the men who did it, and the women come in and benefit from that. And women are pretty much, look, if you build it, they'll come. You see what I'm saying? And I also don't prescribe to brothers limiting themselves based upon melanin. I know a lot of people may disagree with me. That's your problem. It's not my problem, but that is not something I've seen that is consistent with our ancient heritage, culture, and dictates. We did not make the same decisions based on the decisions we're making them today, which is basically based off a post-slavery Negro mentality. So I just wanted to say that, and we're going to move forward. Jad, is there anything you want to share with us, brother, at this point?
No doubt. Yeah, I'm gonna spill my bait because it's running late. I really want to thank all the callers that called in because y'all perspectives really made the show. That was excellent. As my man was saying about trucking, right? People who study the American economy, they will say that the oil is the bloodline of the America's economy, but everyone, we know to validate what they're saying, that trucking is the bloodline of American industry. So I think that was very interesting, the perspective that we all should focus on. As far as thought process goes, if you're trying to figure out how can you shift your mind, or gravitate your mind around, how bad it could be. I gotta really give a shout out to you, Shyaam and Elamir, for pointing out the Game of Thrones to me because I like medieval things, but I really don't watch a lot of TV. So Game of Thrones, I'm talking about that show. I'm only in season 4, but the point is that show, we have to use, if you're studying, it's entertainment, but entertainment. That is the definition of that means to keep a person in a certain frame of mind. So my point is, we should be watching these type of things to study them. And the thing about the Game of Thrones is it shows how devious and manipulative people can be, and how clever and witty they can be. And it's something to keep in mind.
Let me just touch your words real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Just to point out, while you bringing up this topic, that the writer has stated that his foundation for those stories in Game of Thrones is based on the 100 Years Wars, I think, or the War of the Roses. That's what they call it, the War of the Roses, the historically renowned War of the Roses. Those characters and stories are based on those wars. Please continue.
No, indeed, and beautiful. Thank you for that, because I didn't know that. But that's when I'm watching it, it's so real, and it's like I'm watching it and I'm using it as a tool. I'm sharpening it up. I'm like, wow, because you can see these same type of behaviors in your own environment if you pay attention, right? So I that's just, I wanted to add that for if you're trying to find something to shift your thought process. Another we spoke on several movies. Another movie that people should check out is The Road. If you want to see how bad it could get, The Road puts a great perspective. It's a movie. I forgot what year it came out. No doubt. So now, to go on with some of the topics we're touching on in the show, in regards to spiritual mastery, right? And one of the other callers also mentioned discipline. And in my opening statement, that's really what I was hitting at. I didn't say the word discipline, but that's what I was getting at. And as it pertains to spiritual mastery, disciple is the root word in discipline. Jesus had 12 disciples, not to go Christian, but you have to have discipline is the root word in that, and discipline is two words. It comes from discipline and line. Basically the line of men with discipline. So we have to really tune into that. What all it means. Also, I want to say a big shout out again to Ampu and Jew. As it pertains to knowledge of self, that's one of the most essential things that we need. And to be as far as it pertains to being ready for anything that's to come. I personally lean towards Sufism and astrology is what really helps me understand myself and what gets me, so, and understanding my nature. So, and I try to study everything and deal with all perspectives. And I've been paying attention to Brother Ampool for years, and a big part of my understanding, myself. Was the perspective he provided on astrology, because we come from the same spots or whatever, you understand that, that same perspective. So, and it provided me much clarity, insight. And Minister Jude, that's a phenomenal brother, and I appreciate his wisdom. But all in all, shout out to my astrology coach, and I'm thankful to be involved with such a conversation, with so many intelligent brothers, because this is it's much needed, and it's talked about, everybody bringing it, and it. As far as melanated men, it's just time for us to build. We got to deal with reality, not with emotions. We need to develop, knowledge of self, and we need to exhibit a discipline, that's going to afford us the benefit of not allowing anything outside of us to manipulate our emotions. Our focus should be only on that which we can control, and the only thing that we can control is ourselves and our emotions. So for the sake of, being remedial, we heard some shit in kindergarten, where they say sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never harm me. So, let's not give our time and energy to things that do not benefit us. If it's not a practical or tangible way, we got to really just dismiss it, no matter who it is or where it's coming from. Let's keep our emotions in check, live our lives with stern discipline, principles, and let's win. All in all, I just want to give a very, very sincere thank you to the callers. Many different perspectives, yet all of them are relative, and, peace to the family, and we're going to make it.
Definitely. I just want to say as well, a lot of mainstream Muslims scoff at astrology, but Al Malik, he sent me something from a book that was breaking down how the Moors call what they called astrology. They called it the science of mathematics and the stars, or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. So we have to. I just want to make sure everybody understands too that maybe Muslim on the line that. Astrology has nothing to do with fortune telling or trying to predict the future. It's understanding the nature of yourself in relation to the cosmos, which we know Allah put there for various different purposes, and we're supposed to study and learn and expand, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll save that for another point, another time. But the Moors, this is why I always value what the Moors' perspective on things were, because that's who our ancestors were, and that's how they looked at certain things. Because a lot of other cultures, a lot of other people, they just have a distorted view of looking at certain things. So I just want to add that. But 50, what's the deal, bro? What's the last thing you want to share with us?
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback off what the brother the truck driver was saying, about Denver. You got to pay attention. First, I want to say, you got to pay attention to these movies. You got to pay attention to the movies that they put on the screen, because there's always a hidden message. They're always telling you something that they're not really letting out in history books, but it's something to it. Just like they show Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean is talking about admiralty and maritime law. You know what I'm saying? They always show it on TV all the time, and it flies right over people's heads. You know what I'm saying? They show all the kind of stuff. Just pay attention to what's on TV right now, because you got to learn something, like the brothers are saying. As far as Denver, Denver is one of those places where they did build a big airport, international airport there, and if you understand history, you will understand that right where they built that at, that was right at the tip where they claimed that when California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah was flooded, in parts of Colorado, you know what I'm saying, the beach was at Colorado. So right where they say right where the international airport is right where that border, that beach was, you know what I'm saying, all the underground bases that they have right there. You know what I'm saying? As far as, the sister that called in, yeah, I'm glad she called in and asked those questions, because a lot of people do get mistaken when it comes to the word harem. They always think about, white female. They assume that brothers just want white bitches, and you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that was cleared up. You know what I'm saying? As far as with Minister, I've never really, Minister Juju, I dealt with you, through Ampu's Facebook, but I've dealt with Ampu, and Ampu is very good with astrology. I've learned a lot from Ampu regarding myself as well, my birth, natal chart, and all that stuff. So it's very good to understand astrology, the sciences of the stars. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to understand self. And if you don't understand self, you're still going to get nowhere, because so many people understand someone else, but they don't understand themselves. So a lot of people regurgitate things that they hear from other people that necessarily doesn't pertain to them. You have to know every aspect of yourself, whether it's dealing with astrology, frequencies, blood types, and all different kinds of stuff, because when you're dealing with yourself, you're going to learn about other people as well when you learn about yourself. So that's very important in order to be able to maintain yourself and show some type of leadership in whatever ranking that you may hold later on in your life. You see what I'm saying? So there was some other stuff that I want to say, but it kind of set my mind, so I'll just leave it at that.
Definitely. Greatly appreciated. Chico, what's the deal, bro? What's your last words you want to share with us, if you remember any of the things that you were saying before?
I mean, y'all pretty much touched on everything. I had a lot of shit on my mind, but, man, listening to y'all, man, I mean, we all touched it, from very, very various obtuse and adjacent points, man. I'll say this, as far as the homie that spoke about, driving trucks and whatnot. He's seeing people prepare. And one of the first lessons I was taught coming up on the streets is prepare for the unexpected. But, we have testimony, eyewitness testimony saying people all across the nation is preparing for something. So, obviously, it's not the unexpected they are preparing for. People, you cannot prepare for the unexpected. So if people are preparing in mass, they are not preparing for an unexpected event. It is expected.
That's the lesson of 10 Cloverfield Lane. Is that what it's called? But yeah, you did say. I just had to throw that in there.
Nah, it's all good. I mean, it's right there in our faces, man. I mean, the chick that called in, out of all things she heard harem. And this is the crux. This is our nemesis. This is why our kids and our women will suffer. They are worried about our sex lives. when they should be worried about sustaining lineage, future lineage, land, agriculture, safety. You know, we just, like Jazz said, we got to get our minds back right, man. You don't have to get in tune with nature. All you have to do is get in nature because you're nature. That's all. We exaggerate shit when it's simple. The most advanced technology on the planet is simplicity, period. And that's all, man. Y'all, you know, I enjoyed the show. I appreciate all the callers. And, yo, let's do it again, man.
Definitely. Appreciate you calling in and sharing that with us. Always a pleasure. I'm going to open up the lines of a couple of other brothers who was on already. I don't remember your names. Apologies, but we have caller ending in 4931. You're back on the air. What's your last words and statement?
This brother G1, calling out of Michigan, Detroit. I was gonna add that they, like I was saying, the billionaires, they was fighting to for the rebuilding of Detroit. Like on the low, they trying to get everybody because it's like so-called minority dominant city, and so they're trying to downplay it, get out it's bad. But low key, every billionaire on the planet is property invested in Detroit right now. My man, I was telling you I was building with the Puerto Rico cat who was saying look it up. I forgot the website he directed me to, but he was like, every billionaire with cash is investing in. He was like, the infrastructure is fucked up. He was like, they not invested in New York and all these places. But he was like, everywhere. If you look around the city of Detroit, everything's getting fixed. Everything, from the sewers to the roads to the lightings, they dumping, all this money is being dumped here for a reason. He was saying they rebuilding, not for us, of course, you know what I mean, but I'm thinking if we could kind of get in on the rush of the property, this is a good place to set up camp, because it's basically urban farm, a lot of vacant land, properties, acres of vacant, because they come in here buying it up, and it's pretty cheap. Also, what else was I trying to get to? That's the main thing as far as as far as Detroit being a nice local. Oh, because also as far as the disasters, there's no we don't see no disasters, no earthquakes, no tornado. Rarely does a tornado hit here. That's about the only thing that can come in this area, but no droughts, no no floods with, like you said, inland, so got the freshest lake, water supply. So I think low-key something's kind of kept me here. I got family that live in California, other places. Why don't you bounce from Detroit? You ain't got nothing really going on good. It's it's mad, it's difficult out here. You should just bounce. But something's kind of kept me here. When I kind of heard them build on that, it's they want, to, like I said, push everybody out because this is prime land location. We got the 4 seasons, but with the way the earth is shifting and tilting and all that, the winter, we basically virtually didn't even have no winter this past winter. We literally didn't even really see too much snow. So, the brother was saying, there's winter crops, there's summer crops, but yeah, sustainability is what it's about. Everybody just, building their skills, upgrading, get to thinking and, coming together and, being, like you said, practical, down to earth, using simplicity, but at the same time, using it. What good is the technology if we ain't gonna use it? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm gonna leave it on that. I ain't gonna just filibuster y'all, But I appreciate, everybody, what they had to say, and definitely Shyaam, Elamir, 50, the other brother, I'm saying, everybody, all the callers and all that, what I mean? I've been following y'all since 2009, brothers. You know what I mean? So, y'all my guys, man, for real. Y'all, whenever y'all come to Michigan, I got y'all. Y'all could come chill at the rest, stay at the rest, whatever. But I'm gonna leave y'all on that. Peace.
Yeah, they say anywhere Google builds a building, that man, something got to be going on out there. And I know Google got a location out there in Michigan. Right?
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, they just every company is coming here. Adidas, Nike, everybody's starting they coming here, son. I'm telling you, they dropping billions of dollars here in the infrastructure of Detroit. While all of America's crumbling, they're gonna use Detroit as the model to rebuild America. You know what I'm saying?
Doubt,
but yeah,
appreciate it.
Real
about to close out real quick.
Real quick, Shyaam, real quick.
Calling in and sharing that with us. Hold on one second. Appreciate you calling in and sharing that with us, brother. And definitely get you back on the line on the next call. What you was going to say?
No, yeah, my bad. My apologies too. To the caller, my name is on Facebook, Jaddy Lama, man, add me. I'm in Detroit too. We need to link up and, kick it. Also, I just want to add this for anyone, wherever, no matter where you're at in America, there's a website. If you're interested in some property or some land, there's a good website, a good resource. It's called makeloveland.com, makeloveland.com. And you could, it basically has property information, a good starting point. I'm not going to say it has, definitive information, but a good starting point if you're interested in anything in the United States. And I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, definitely. What I will say is just in short is that Detroit just keeps popping up, man. It just keeps popping up. Everybody keeps bringing it up. So I got. We already talked, Jazz, so you already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? But caller ending in 5272. What's your last statement you want to make for the night?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna get back to the martial art aspects of what brother was talking about. I'm sort of thinking capoeira, the philosophies of capoeira are good, and I reason that if you even look at the MMA style fighting and who was holding belts out of the melanated brothers and stuff and holding them and keeping them and, doing certain things, not just John Jones, even though he was coming in, the gate and the capoeira style. So I'm sure he understands some of the techniques that go along with the rhythm and why they have a problem of dealing with our frequency and rhythm and how that art in itself, the philosophies of it kind of fit in with the things that we're going through and the type of things that we will have to put up with in the event of a collapse. And Quilombows in Brazil kind of give a little bit of history on that as well, and some of their rebellions that they did out there, and how they was given the police fits, in the past, and the police even had to learn capoeira just to be able to fight crimes. So yeah, that's a good philosophy to learn, even if you don't do the physical capoeira itself, because it is kind of if you're a little older or something, it might not be the best art for you as far as physical is concerned, but it's a good thing to at least try and get involved with, because the culture of it is dealing with rhythm, and they have a problem. All martial arts have a problem dealing with the rhythm of capoeira.
Definitely. Appreciate you calling in and sharing that with us, brother.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And what I really wanted to say first before that was I appreciate you and Elamir and all the brothers as well, and just for providing a platform, because that's important, and honors for that, and the brother he said it for us the best, but yeah, I just want to make sure that.
Definitely, brother.
Yeah.
Walaikum salam. All right. We have caller ending in 1702. What's your last statements for tonight, bro?
Peace. Just wanted to make sure, I give y'all your just desert. Y'all been doing a good job for a very long time now, and y'all on it. I think a lot of people are starting to wake up now more because of the works and the due diligence that Marrakesh has put out there. I want to say, if there was more strategic talk about uniting, because we don't need everybody, we just need critical mass, and just making sure that we keep circles like this and Flame, you know, sometimes I'm not able to catch y'all on the actual night that y'all doing it, but I try and go and listen back. And the last one that I'm catching up to is the one where you had the female doctor on